chini ya uongozi wa Rais Uhuru Kenyatta, uwekezaji mwafaka umefanywa katika ukarabati na ujenzi wa viwanja vya ndege nchini tangu mwaka wa 2013. Wiki hii kwenye Project 254,
hatutaweza kuinua hali ya maisha ya wananchi wetu bila infrastructure.
Other than even Kenya Airports Authority improving on the airport facilities, infrastructure, we are also arriving faster than before.
Nataka kushukuru Rais Uhuru Kenyatta kwa kutuletea mradi nzuri kama hii hapa Isiolo, mradi wa Isiolo International Airport. Tumepata hapa employment.
Are you an aspiring candidate in the upcoming general elections? Do you want your agenda and manifesto to reach your voters effectively? At KBC, we have the most comprehensive and credible online platform that has profiles of all prospective candidates. Log on to www.kbc.co.ke/2022 aspirants and let Kenyans know more about you, your past achievements, your manifesto, and your development agenda once you get elected to office. What's more, the website is easy to navigate. We will create your profile, post pictures and short videos with your campaign messages at affordable hosting fees. Log on to www.kbc.co.ke/2022 aspirants today and establish your brand authority as we lead towards the forthcoming general elections.
Maybe we should have a dinner party and invite some of your single friends.
You need to keep your single friends at bay.
She's good people.
Hey, honey. Welcome home.
There's no dinner.
I've decided to cook for one.
Love is for those who fight for it.
But even when I got married, we would still be together? Asali, move on.
Have you lost your mind?
I love you.
Oh, please.
Get out! Get out!
I hate you. She's gonna leave you.
She deserves better.
So do I.
On My Culture this Friday, get to know more about Shilembe, a ceremony that ropes in bullfighters in honor of a dead hero or warrior in Western Kenya.
Good morning. This is KBC Channel 1 and you're just in time for Good Morning Kenya. I'm Regina Manyara. Being the 24th of March 2022, the political scene is abuzz with the entry and endorsement of Raila Odinga as presidential candidate under Azimio by none other than now Kenya Martha Karua. What impact will this have, especially in, picking the deputy president or the running mate within that faction? it does indeed affect the political matrix. And talking about the long arm of the law and seemingly serving justice, now the driver to the kidnapped Cuban doctors is to serve a life sentence for abating the kidnap. That and so much more is what we're going to be bringing you up to speed on as we look at those headlines. Remember that we broadcast live and stream live too on our various social media platforms, including Facebook Live and YouTube and KBC Channel 1. So if you cannot watch it from the comfort of your home, right in front of that television, well, social media got you. We also have our open platforms on social media and we welcome your feedback. Our official station handle is at KBC Channel 1 on Twitter. Mine, however, is at Ray Manyara. Remember to include where you're watching this particular broadcast from. Now, being Thursday is the new Friday, we have so much in line for you other than matters news. We are also going to be looking at the entertainment industry. So indeed, it is a packed up morning. But before we speak matters entertainment, let's bring you up to speed with those stories that have been making headlines in the last 24 hours. Now, Kenya Party leader Martha Karua has formally endorsed Raila Odinga for president. She was speaking at a meeting with the Azimio presidential flag bearer, and she said that her party ditched the One Kenya alliance for the Azimio coalition. She said she chose to join Azimio as it is the face of the country's reformers.
After weeks of speculation on the direction the Iron Lady would take, the die is now cast, with Karua now casting her lots with the Azimio coalition led by Raila Odinga. The party began by announcing its formal split with the One Kenya alliance, even though majority of her partners in Oka had already joined Azimio.
The Now Kenya party is grateful for our journey with our brothers and sisters in Oka. More importantly, that journey has now come to an end.
From now onwards, Na Kenya and I are supporting the Azimio presidential candidate.
The Na Kenya party leader formally announcing that she would support Raila Odinga in the upcoming elections, as they had a long history of the multi-party struggle in the country.
We've been in the trenches together. We've come a long way in the struggle and fight for liberation in this country, the second liberation, fight for the constitution. And when we have had disagreements, we've been able to lay them on the table, overcome them in the interest of the people of Kenya.
Welcoming the move by Karua, the Azimio la Umoja coalition flag bearer Raila Odinga said they had walked the journey of bringing reforms to the country and that she was finally home.
I feel very proud this afternoon to receive Martha here, this side of the divide. I don't think that he had any other choice, because the difference between this side and the other side is like day and night.
While acknowledging that no side has only saints, all sides have people who may have looted in the past. All sides have people who do not believe in the rule of law, and all sides have good people. I've been looking keenly and I've been able, without much struggle, to identify a critical mass of good people within the Azimio coalition.
Earlier, the Upia party associated with Treasury CS Ukur Yatani formally endorsed Raila Odinga as its presidential candidate.
Mmenipata mimi kijiti na kuhakikisha nyinyi nitabeba bila wasiwasi. Nitakimbia naye mpaka nifike kule ni pale. Na hakika tutapata ushindi.
Awamu ya 3 tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8. Safari hii naona tutashinda kabisa.
political matrix is indeed shifting. If you play chess, you understand, how you move, the pieces on the board, especially where you are protecting the queen. Remember, when the queen falls, it's a done deal. But before we get to the queen, there's a bishop, there's a knight that you move around, and there's a king. Let's continue watching the political matrix. So while that was happening, the endorsement of Raila Odinga as a presidential flag bearer of Azimio by Martha Karua, Deputy President William Ruto was in Machakos, where he said that the Kenya Kwanza government will invest in agriculture with the aim of improving the farmers' productivity, a situation that will reduce the high cost of foodstuffs in the country.
The Kenya Kwanza Alliance on Wednesday took their campaigns to Athi River and Mlolongo in Machakos County, where Deputy President William Ruto promised to rescue Kenyans from high cost of living should he win the forthcoming presidential elections.
Safari hii hatuwezi kukubali ile inaitwa trickle down. Ati watu wachache wanafaidika kule juu, ati mungojee huku chini, wakishafaidika ifike chini. Safari hii tunapindua na tunabadilisha model ya uchumi, tunaanza chini tukienda juu.
Tunataka bei ya gas iende chini. Tunataka bei ya chakula iende chini. Tunataka bei ya madawa iende chini. Na hiyo itatokana na sera nzuri ambazo zinahakikisha kwamba pesa zinaenda kwa mfuko wa Mkenya.
Promising a turnaround in the country's economy, the leader said they will invest in agriculture with the aim of improving farmers' productivity, a situation that will reduce food prices in the country.
Na tuhakikishe ya kwamba chakula inapatikana mkulima akisaidiwa hapa chini, alafu tuende juu. Yani bottom.
Hiyo kura utapiga kupunguza bei ya unga. Utapiga kuleta ajira. Utapiga kupunguza bei ya mafuta, bei ya kila kitu.
Meanwhile, former Kakamega Senator Boni Khalwale has stepped down for Kakamega Cleophas Malala in the Kakamega County gubernatorial race. In an agreement reached by the two aspirants at Deputy President William Ruto's current office in Nairobi, former Kakamega Senator Boni Khalwale will now contest for the Kakamega Senator's position.
Somebody wants to use us as pawns so that we waste time fighting each other. That then moves away from the dream of the deputy president, of us avoiding positions but pushing the people's agenda.
And he has not done so because I am a better leader than him. No, he has done so because of the sacrifice and the bigger picture Kenya Kwanza is looking at in the near future.
The development coming as Farmers' Party led by former Devolution Principal Secretary Irungu Nyakera joins the Kenya Kwanza Alliance. Nyakera, who is also party's national chairman, is contesting for the Murang'a gubernatorial seat.
There's been a bit of a push and pull in the Ruto camp, the UDA camp there between Boni Khalwale and Cleophas Malala. We'll be keeping tabs on that. Now, talking about matters of the elections is that the National Assembly Justice and Legal Affairs Committee has defended the ongoing review of election laws, saying it aims at aligning the laws with the Constitution as well as make the election process conformable. Engaging the European Union election observers, the committee said the proposed changes in the Election Amendment Bill were informed by the rulings of the judiciary. This as Kenya National Commission on Human Rights maps out hotspots across the country, which include Mombasa, Nyanza, Rift Valley and Nairobi.
The European elections observers requested audience with the National Assembly Justice and Legal Affairs Committee to understand the rationale behind amending the elections laws 4 months to the general elections.
You are welcome, will not impede you in any way. We would like, in fact, to facilitate you so that you expose any little misdeeds.
Be particularly interesting for us also to hear about the electoral reform engagement that your committee is involved in. We understand that there have been some changes to the legal framework also relatively recently.
The committee, chaired by Kangema MP Muturi Kigano, attributed the ongoing review of elections law to constitutional requirements and previous rulings by the judiciary.
A lot of laws have been interpreted by the judiciary, and so many of the sections of law have been tested against the Constitution. Many were found to be unconstitutional for one thing or the other, and so we have had the task of trying to assemble the legal framework to align itself with the Constitution and to align itself by the expressions of the judiciary.
The Elections Amendment Bill, currently in the National Assembly, seeks to allow the IEBC to resort to manual register in case of failure of digital systems, as well as transmit the results electronically and physically.
By non-interference with the bodies charged with the responsibility. And ultimately, you have the courts of law that will arbitrate in case of grievances. There is no election that you could say is 100% perfect, but 80% perfection is very good.
This comes as Kenya National Commission on Human Rights maps up the hotspots across the country, which include Mombasa, Nyanza region, Rift Valley, and Nairobi.
We were also able to meet with the county government officials, and again we've discussed the issue of elections with them, and they assure us they will be working throughout and they will do everything possible to ensure human rights are respected during the electioneering period. We are hoping that our engagement today with stakeholders will also take us into the issues of ensuring peace, security, and human rights in the coming elections.
That bid to change the election law has drawn a lot of criticism from politicians as well as other stakeholders, some calling and saying it's a little bit premature and we don't need to change the laws per se. Others reading mischief in that move, but hey, your opinion is also valid. You can get us on Twitter at KBC Channel 1. Now, over 800,000 doses of AstraZeneca vaccines have expired as Kenyans kept away from taking the jab. Now, the daily doses being administered have dropped from 252,000 to about 40,000 after the relaxation of the COVID-19 health protocols a week ago.
Chief Administrative Secretary, Ministry of Health, Dr. Mercy Mwangangi says the expired doses had an expiry date of February 28th. Nakuru County has recorded the highest number of expired doses at 35,000, followed by Busia at 27,980, Kajiado 25,770, Kakamega 12,000, and Kwale County recording the least number of expired doses at 11,730.
Some of these challenges in taking up those doses has been, one, complacency by ourselves as Kenyans in being able to take up the jab following the reduction of the positivity rate and the number of COVID-19 admissions. I'm sure just a few weeks to a month ago, you noticed our trends had gone down, the positivity had come down, and some mandates were lifted. And this then led to complacency amongst us, causing the loss of those 840,000 doses of AstraZeneca.
According to the ministry, the number of people getting vaccinated dropped sharply after the move to lift ban on wearing masks in public places, with daily doses administered dropping from 252,000 to between 30,000 and 40,000 doses daily.
Continue to witness vaccine hesitancy attributed to rumors and misinformation, especially rumors and misinformation around fertility concerns. This is featuring in some counties within the country. And in this regard, we do want to work with our religious leaders who can really help us address this issue of misinformation.
Kumekuwa kulegeza kamba kwa wananchi. Wamekuwa hawajitokezi kupata chanjo vile inahitajika. Wanafikiria kwamba ugonjwa wa corona umeisha. Haujaisha. Hii ugonjwa bado iko na sisi, iko katika sehemu nyingi, na wakati huu tunaenda wakati wa mvua na wakati wa baridi, kawaida ugonjwa huu unakuja tena.
To minimize spoilage of more vaccines, the ministry is now calling on Kenyans to get vaccinated, even as it looks into only accepting vaccines that have up to 4 months shelf life.
With 1 million vaccines of Johnson & Johnson expected to expire in 3 weeks, the government insists no taxpayers' money has been lost.
Meanwhile, the COVID-19 positivity rate in the country now stands at 0.3% after 13 people tested positive of the disease from a sample size of 4,625 tested in the last 24 hours. No new COVID-19 related death has been reported. The Ministry of Health says a total of 17.4 million vaccines have been administered across the country. Out of it, 1 million doses administered to those between 15 to 17 years, while 272,058 are booster doses.
If you haven't gotten your jab there, kindly get one. Government there insisting that you still need to get your shot despite the relaxation of the COVID-19 health protocols. On that note, we take a quick breather. We'll be right back. Do not go away.
Vita kwetu ni kawaida. Sisi ni wanawake, hatuwezi kuisha malumbano.
Badi, asere nirudi nyumbani. Mimi sitaki kuchanganywa akili.
Nikigundua kwamba unanichezea, unanidanganya, na kwamba kazi yako kubwa ni kujikalia tu hapo, utashangaa feri safari.
Mtu ataanzaje tu unifuatafuata? Mimi mume wake? Mimi mume wake?
Sometimes I think whether it's possible that Shannon is still alive somewhere.
What do we do now? We can't go on our honeymoon. How can you be this terrified of your father? Hey!
I miss you so much, Pinky. I miss you, do you know?
Shannon!
Save my baby. Save my baby.
Did you have wine tonight? Aren't you pregnant right now? Isn't it bad to drink if a woman is pregnant? What?
Good morning, I'm Regina Manyara and you're watching In the Headlines on KBC Channel 1. Now the government has begun the rollout of digital registration of Bodaboda operators in all counties, a move that is aimed at regulating the sector. Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i and his ICT counterpart Joe Moshero met officials in the Bodaboda sector and said that operators will be required to register through the online portal through county Bodaboda associations.
A few days after the unveiling of an online portal for registration of Bodaboda operators, the government has now rolled out a digital registration through the Bodaboda Association of Kenya, BAK. The operators will now be required to join a SACCO before gaining access into the online portal to enable them conduct business.
When you are organized as a SACCO, your potential is recorded and is known. It's easier for even government to stand surety for you to get a facility to invest and increase your potential as well. So let us register in the SACCOs. I love the idea of having a digital register. I love the idea of, the identification that I'm seeing here. This is the way we are going as a country. And ask each one of your friends to ensure that they have registered in the SACCOs. We maintain a digital record.
If you are already your sector has more money than the government is transferring to the counties, more than 370 billion. Your sector, mufanya hesabu, you're big, and you can transform. You're the people paying even the taxes. Hii serikali ni yenu. This government is yours. This country is yours.
Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i, who was flanked by ICT CS Joe Musheru, said the government is in talks with operators and other stakeholders to regulate and bring in order the subsector. Matiang'i said the sector is a key driver of the country's economy and hence the need of operators to comply with set regulations to ensure safety of all Kenyans on the roads.
My brothers and sisters, this country belongs to all of us equally. So let us be responsible and reform this sector. And in reforming this sector, what I like about this meeting is the honesty and the sincerity with which your leaders are speaking, that this affects all of us.
Bodaboda riders through their various associations promise to be champions of road safety training and reform.
You are ready to reform and you are ready to work with the government to ensure that we clean the Bodaboda sector in this country.
Therefore, when the government comes in to support this sector, it's a very welcome move. There needs to be good coordination. We have had good support from NTSA.
Maybe that is the key on reining in on those few elements in that particular subsector who have taken to committing crime. Now to the corridors of justice. Isaac Robo, the Mandera County government driver who aided the kidnapping of 2 Cuban doctors by suspected Al-Shabaab militias in 2019, was sentenced to life imprisonment. Robo was found guilty of terrorism charges, including being in the country illegally. He was convicted last month on 4 counts.
Isaac Robo on Wednesday before Milimani Law Courts Magistrate Martha Nanzushi. Assisting suspected Al-Shabaab terrorists to kidnap 2 Cuban doctors working at the Mandera Referral Hospital, has landed him a life sentence.
With the above analysis, I do the sentence the accused person or the convict as follows. Count number 1, Commission of the Terrorism Act. Commission of a Terrorism Act. This honorable court sentenced the convict to a life imprisonment. Count number 2, kidnapping and hostage handling. The sentence to serve a period of 25 years. Count number 3, aiding and abetting terrorism. You will serve a sentence of 15 years. And count number 4, obtaining registration by false pretenses, carries a maximum of 1 year. Is a first-time offender, you will serve 6 months. You have right to appeal within 14 days.
In the last count of being in Kenya unlawfully, he will serve 6 months. Robo's terrorism acts led to the death of a police officer who was escorting the 2 doctors. He has 14 days right of appeal. Meanwhile, activist Michael Makerena now wants Meru Senator Mithika Linturi investigated over the mysterious death of a former business partner. In a petition filed at the High Court, Makerena wants the Directorate of Criminal Investigations compelled to conduct fresh investigations into what caused the death of Dr. Stanley Marowe Mugwika.
The inquest in Meru, where one Mithika Linturi, who is intending to be the governor of Meru, is alleged to have been part of a murder of his close business friend. Inquest went, we have given the proceedings, a copy of the ruling, and the court said further investigations be conducted on the death of his business partner.
Mugwika is said to have had a sour relationship with Linturi before he was found dead on August 23, 2006 with a gunshot wound on his head.
The corridors of justice. Now let's speak matters business, where the 11th edition of the Connected Kenya Summit is to be hosted in Kwale County next month. Now the summit comes at a time when the government has made key strides in ensuring information and communication technology becomes an integral part of service delivery. ICT Cabinet Secretary Joe Mushero says this year's summit offers a platform to engage other stakeholders and partners on how digital technology such as 5G, Internet of Things and artificial intelligence can transform lives. The summit, which was first held in 2019, is a brainchild of the ICT Authority in partnership with the ICT industry players. The summit birthed the development of key ecosystems like Huduma Number.
This was a policy that the whole industry was engaged in ensuring that we have key areas that we can work on together. And you know, when everybody puts their force together, we can actually see a lot of transformation happening. If we look at some of the key areas that we put in the policy that are already in the process of being implemented, we're talking about digital government. As I've mentioned in the previous, we've got now over 300 services being offered electronically. Even during this time using eCitizen, you can go check which political party you've been registered in. You can even resign. So a lot of these services are being put in place. But also 5G, the process of rolling out 5G to ensure that as a country we're not being left behind. We're talking about even electric vehicles being brought so that we can go to our national parks, creating, you know, development centers so that all our young people are able to develop for the world from here. You know, we're talking of Huduma Number. This is a single, ID that every Kenyan can use. It's a digital ID, and even the mobile operators have been asking for this. Banks are asking for this. Everybody needs this service so that every Kenyan is actually digital. You can be able to use your fingerprints, your face, whatever is going to be required to be able to move forward.
The impact of technology transcends all sectors. Now, milk prices have gone up by between 5 and 7 shillings in the last 2 weeks, adding more pain to struggling Kenyans. The Kenya Dairy Board has a price hike that has been occasioned by the ongoing drought and the high cost of dairy products. Our reporter Tess Mutai talked to Kenyans about the new milk prices, and this is what they had to say.
The high cost of living is making life unbearable for many Kenyans. But what is the government doing to mitigate these harsh conditions?
The prices of animal feed have gone up by more than 30% in the last year on account of expensive corn, minerals and soybeans. This has been occasioned by the high demand for commodities on the global market. These have seen the cost of the white gold jump from a low of 45 shillings in June last year to the current 65 shillings for a 500 milliliter packet of milk.
I'm kind of surprised na ile life tunaishi kwa sababu kila kitu ime-increase. Like for now, asubuhi si lazima sasa nikunywe chai.
The Kenya Dairy Board says the upward pressure on prices is expected to remain in the coming months as processors are not getting enough volumes from farmers due to the ongoing drought. The situation is expected to worsen since most processors do not have stocks of powdered milk, which they normally reconstitute into fresh milk when there is a shortage. A spot check by KBC indicates that all leading processors have adjusted their prices between 5 shillings and 7 shillings for a 500 milliliter packet of fresh and long life brands, dealing consumers major blow.
Farmers wamereduce bei ya chakula ya mifugo so that we can punguza the bei ya maziwa kwetu kwa sababu unaona it starts from the ground. Kama kwa ground maziwa iko na bei ya juu, pia sisi kwetu by the time inatufikia na bei ya juu, so lazima tuuze na bei ya juu pia.
The automated milk vending machines are currently selling the commodity for 70 shillings a litre from 65 shillings 2 weeks ago.
Maziwa imekuwa too expensive
it's unbearable. So kindly, serikali yetu tafadhali, mtusaidie, mtupunguzie bei ya vitu chini.
However, there is hope that the expected rains will reverse the current trend.
Conversation has been that the cost of living is getting out of hand, with the cost of fast-moving consumer goods actually going up. And this is quite different from what we have experienced in the last 5 years, or rather 5-10 years back, where the government, in as far as taxation is concerned, went for the sin tax. I guess your guess is as good as mine now. Sin tax is not raking in as much as the government requires to spend, and that's why we're seeing the FMG sector taking the hitting. But we hope that this is going to abate, because Wanjiko is really running out of room in as far as tightening her belt. Talking about belts, now let's cross over to sports, where Kenya's Nancy Koech Chelagat produced an outstanding performance to finish second and bag a silver medal for Kenya in the women's 400 meters race at the ongoing Dubai 13th International Open athletics meeting. Now, meanwhile, the Kenya Breweries Limited, through its beer brand White Cup Lager, will be the official responsible supporter for those games that are going to be happening at the Kasarani Stadium. Here is a wrap, or rather an in-depth wrap onto what is happening in the sporting arena.
Kenya has had an outstanding performance this season at the ongoing Dubai 13th International Open Athletics meetings. Nancy Koech Chelagat produced an outstanding performance to finish second in the women 400 meters race behind Colombia's Salcido Rodriguez and Nishadi Shwari, who settled for the third position. Meanwhile, Kenya Breweries Limited, through its beer brand White Cup Lager, will be the official responsible drinking partner for the 2022 inaugural Lioness Rally, the first all-female rally event in Kenya. Lisa Christopherson and KBC News anchor Pauline Shegu are some of the drivers taking part in the event.
Message to women out here. That's why we are here as Lioness Rally Club, to change the narrative. People have been perceiving rally as a male-dominated field, but as Lioness, we are here to change that narrative.
Further details on matters sports, as well as what is happening in the business arena, not forgetting politics, is available on our website, that is www.kbc.co.ke. Now we are about to get to sample the various dailies that we have in studio, so do keep it right here.
All right, let us now move on to the next part of this, and this is about just roughly going through the front pages of the Daily Nation. We start with this particular story in regards to the alarm of 800,000 vaccines that went to waste, and this has largely been attributed to the low uptake of the vaccine by people here in Kenya due to hesitancy, of course, based on the rumors that were circulating a while back that were based on misinformation, as well as the drop in the number of infections. Those are the two main reasons that CAS Health, Dr. Masi Mwangangi, did say in regards to the low uptake of the vaccine. And she did warn that in the next 3 weeks, if Kenyans do not show up to get vaccinated, another 1.8 million doses of the COVID-19 vaccine will expire. Now, this first batch that expired were donated to Kenya by the COVAX facility in January, and they only had a 2-month shelf life. And the second batch that was received in the country in December, that was the Johnson & Johnson batch, it has a 3-month shelf life, and it will be expiring on the 14th of April, and it is an estimated 1.8 million doses. So should this particular trend of, Kenyans not really turning up to receive the vaccine vaccines. Another 1.8 million or more could go bad. Now, the next story concerns Sauti Sol, and of course, being Entertainment Thursday, this is refreshing for it to be on the front page. Sauti Sol is solo, seeking new paths. Popular boy band walks the lonely path together. This just basically talks of how last year they did announce that the individuals in the groups will be venturing out and doing solo projects. They dubbed it Alone Together, and this set ablaze the conversation as to whether the boy band was splitting, because this has been the trend when it comes to any group of musicians. They work together for some time, and then it gets to a point where they go their own individual ways. But they said that is not the end of Sauti Sol. It's just about venturing into a new space, but still working together as a group, only allowing each other to shine in the different areas of specialization. Now, coming to the main read, Karua joins Azimio. After months of wooing, she finally joins Raila. A series of negotiations with Oka, Kenya Kwanza, and Azimio have finally led Martha Karua, the North Kenya leader, to the Odinga camp, but it is not clear what difference she will make in this particular coalition and what position she's going to take on. But according to insiders, they say that she could be fronted for the DP position, but others are still waiting for her to confirm as to whether she will be running for the gubernatorial seat. But critics have said that this just goes to further complicate the situation when it comes to choosing a running mate. Now there is Martha Karua, there was Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka, there was Peter Kenneth, as well as Munya. So which way for Raila when it comes to choosing a deputy? All right, now finally there is a story here, a rather sad story concerning a botched surgery on a 1-year-old little boy. And this is in regards to surgery that he underwent, but according to this particular daily, the boy went in healthy and whole, but after that 4-hour surgery, he left that particular surgery room unable to see, unable to eat, unable to speak, and paralyzed. All right, I'll be giving you details to the story in just a bit. Victor.
All right. Before I get to the headlines, what's here actually on the front page of the Star newspaper. Now, that story about Martha Karua joining Azimio, the issue of, actually even Regina touched about it, how it's going to complicate the choice of a running mate. Now, that is one secret card that all political parties and actually the top presidential aspirants are keeping under the table, because Martha Karua joining Azimio, in my opinion, does not complicate the race, because she just joined yesterday, all right? And the process of picking a presidential aspirant, or so to speak, candidate, running mate rather, is a tedious one. Okay, on the front page of the Star, ODM Jubilee to get 1 billion shillings party's cash, UDA to miss out on the windfall as the party is yet to be recognized in Parliament. That is what's on the front page here of the Star newspaper. And on the again on the front page, Obado's aide generated false medical forms. A clinical officer yesterday confessed that he filed in medical documents showing one of the accused persons in Sharon's murder case displayed features of strangulation without examining him. And he said that he generated that report on his computer and therefore not registered in hospital. That's what's there on the Star. Very quickly, ODM Jubilee to get 1 billion shillings cash money. It is said that registered political parties, that's Underitu told, said that sharing will be based on the initial Political Parties Act before it was amended recently to alter the sharing formula. About 80% of the fund is to be distributed proportionately, considering the total number of votes garnered by political parties. Another reason here is that 15% of the is shared based on the number of candidates of the party from special interest groups. 5% will cover administrative costs. So that is something that I believe that Jubilee, UDA is aware of. And once that is settled in Parliament, yes, they will be eligible for that. IEBC to cut primary fees for women and special groups. Let me give you a figure that has been revised. It said that presidential seat, men will pay 200,000 shillings, while women, youth, and people living with disability will pay 100,000 shillings. For gubernatorial seats, men will pay 50,000 shillings and women 25,000 shillings, etc., etc. You can get the details on the Star. Doreen?
All right, coming to the front page of the People's Daily, obviously that story concerning vaccine has made its way where there's concern after COVID-19 vaccine expires in store. And this has also largely been attributed to complacency and misinformation. And also what the ministry is saying is that another 1 million doses of Johnson & Johnson vaccine will go bad if they are not utilized before April 15th. And also, Karua, why I opted to join Raila's Azimio, that is what you're waking up to this morning as the main header on this particular daily. And clearly a lot has been and is still being said about the NARC Kenya party leader. Remember that this is someone that we clearly know, who, as the Iron Lady, a seasoned politician, began politics in 1992. Around that same time, she bagged a parliamentary position. We can clearly see that she also was very instrumental between 2002 and 2007 under the Kibaki regime, still was in that particular regime even after that, done a lot, instrumental during the reforms in 2005, vied for presidency in 2013, still is going to vie for the gubernatorial seat in Kirinyaga County. So clearly, which way after her joining Azimio la Umoja, and obviously again when it comes to that running mate position, so much as she was being looked at the coalition in which she will join, even after she's joined Azimio, still a lot is going to be talked about and being looked at when it comes to Martha Karua. And also in Kakamega County, the negotiated democracy is taking place in that particular place. Obviously, this is after Boni Halwale stepped down for the incumbent senator, that is Cleopas Malala, to run for that gubernatorial position in that particular county. And that is how the People's Daily is looking like this morning. Regina.
Thank you very much, Doreen. Now, before we take our fast breather, I have a copy of The Standard, and it's all about Martha's politics, looking at that particular move that Martha Karua made yesterday there and endorsing the former premier for the top seat come August 9th is really changing the political matrix. So this finds itself on the front page of this particular daily, as well as that story about, the life sentence for the Cuban driver for abating that kidnapping. He should be serving a life sentence. And also just a recap of why, MPs defecting, why defecting MPs will not lose their seats. We'll be back with more details on the stories that have made their way to the front page of the various dailies that we have in not too long.
On My Culture this Friday, get to know more about Shilembe, a ceremony that ropes in bullfighters in honor of a dead hero or warrior in Western Kenya.
Ilayska umada.
Na ndio kutafuta pesa. Na ndio hiyo kitu nakwambia. Hiyo ni tamaa.
Nikiambia hii mbwenya, mimi nilikuwa kigonyi wa senke. Sawa? Alafu Ondiekde ndio anakuanga sagara wa misimi. Naweza kwa nimewatupanisha.
Umeelewa ni nini anasema?
I don't know you. You don't know me.
Unamaanisha nini?
You don't know each other.
Unanirada.
Unamjua. Sasa unauliza nini?
Nauliza kana nina huo.
Mimi apataka hiyo, mimi iko big boss, hata bana yangu iko big boss apataka kafanya chori dogo dogo na mnayo. Bas mama hiyo tu.
Namaste toka uende.
Huyo mtu ambaye siku hiyo alikuta commotion.
Dos divididos por una sombra de traición.
Sometimes we need to take risks, son. That new complex could possibly get us out of the hole.
That's it, Leonardo? Well, Leonardo, I'm sorry for saying this, but I told you specifically to keep your distance because she's still very vulnerable.
Alonso, no!
I'm not going to allow you to offend her. Do you hear me?
Alonso, please don't. Let's go. It's not worth it.
Fortunately, Alonso left and he managed to say something that really broke me to pieces.
Why didn't you ever tell me the truth? Why did you let a relationship fall apart just like that?
Lying heart. Pues sembrando el veneno y la ambición.
All right, welcome back. In case you are just joining us, this is Good Morning Kenya. I am Jane Wamboy. We are using the hashtag Good Morning Kenya on Twitter. Our official station handle is at KBC Channel 1. Our individual handles are at Victor Olo, at Doreen Arange, at Ray Manyara, and at Jane Wamboy. Now, I want to quickly run you guys through this very sad story here on the Daily Nation concerning a botched surgery on a 1-year-old boy. Now, this little boy was born on the 23rd of August, and everything was okay. He was born, and the next day, mom went home. But when she was at home, she observed her little boy, and she noted there was a swelling on his groin area. Taking him back to the hospital, the doctor said he had an undescended testicle, which is a common condition among boys at birth, where one of the testicles does not descend outside of the body. Yes, it is formed, but it doesn't descend outside the body. So they did examinations to determine whether the boy is fit for surgery, and she was told that it can only be done when he's a bit older. So she was told to go home and come back when the boy was about 7-8 months for another examination, and so she did, and from there she was referred to a specialized doctor, a urologist, who was the one who was set to perform this surgery. So several months later, more examinations, they finally settled on a time that the boy would get the surgery, and he was 1.5 years at this particular time. Now, looking at the complications that do come along with this particular condition, if it is not addressed and corrected, it can lead to cancer of the testis or infertility in cases where it is left untreated for too long. So, but it can be reversed through surgery, and in some other cases, it resolves on its own for that matter. So in this particular case, the testicle had not yet descended, and the boy needed surgery. Mother, of course, she used NHIF, and they were able to schedule a surgery at a private facility with one Dr. Patrick Mbuthia, who is a urologist. So they came. Mother took the boy to hospital. He went into the operating room for the surgery. It's not a procedure that should take more than an hour. But in this case, the surgery went for 4.5 hours. And when the boy was brought out, he still remained unconscious for another 3 hours. And when the mother was asking what happened, much later is when she was told that when the boy was taken out of the operating room, he had lost his sight and mobility. He was unable to eat, and his also ability to speak. You know, they're in that stage where they speak a lot of gibberish. He was unable to do that, and he was also experiencing convulsions. But the doctor told her that, you know, it's okay, this is expected, nothing to worry about, he'll be good, he'll make a quick recovery. And the saddest bit is the surgery to help the testicle descend was not even done. Okay? Mother is observing the little boy in the ward. She noted that he was gasping for air, he was having on and off fevers and grinding his little teeth and stiffing his body. Upon further questioning, that is when she was told that the boy was unresponsive when they administered anesthesia, and they had to resuscitate him during the surgery, and consequently did not actually perform the surgery that was intended. So they discharged the boy. They went home, nothing was happening. And by the way, the operation had already been paid for by NHIF, and it was much later when she was referred to Nyeri referral. And when they actually arrived to the hospital, the boy had to be resuscitated again. This is a boy who's a year and a half, mind you.
That's too much. That's too much for...
And this is in a span of 2 months. He had to be resuscitated again, went into ICU, slipped into a coma for a week. Now, looking at the files, the doctors that were reviewing the boy's files, this particular urologist that did her surgery, among many other details that they had included in this file, is that the boy had a heart condition that wasn't diagnosed. That is what the doctors had written in the file. But at the Nyeri referral, they did all the examinations as per what was in the files, and they said the boy had no heart condition. None whatsoever.
Case of
misdiagnosis? None whatsoever. And it took another 2 weeks before this particular urologist who initially did the procedure on the boy to actually turn up, because they could not go ahead with treatment before getting a proper report from this particular doctor. It took him another 2 weeks to come and explain what happened. And that's when he said that, the boy experienced a reaction to the anesthetic that was administered after trying to stabilize him and do the best that he could to save the little boy. After 3 hours, he decided not to do the procedure and not even tell the mother that they didn't do the procedure. Now the little boy cannot see. He is paralyzed. He is unable to eat on his own and cannot speak. And the surgery is yet to be done.
Oh, this on a 1.5-year boy.
1.5-year-old, in a span of 2 months.
And this was first a case of misdiagnosis.
And you know, this is a very common...
And then the doctor just cannot show up. Laxity again.
And this is a common condition that is being witnessed in boys at birth, and especially in the recent years. It's something that the doctors had noted. One of the testicles does not descend, but in some cases it resolves on its own, and in some cases they need surgery when they're about a year, and it's less than an hour's time procedure.
I think something can be done.
Medical negligence.
Something can be done to give that boy some lease of life. He has a long way to live, many years ahead of him. And it can be done. It can be done. So
very sad case. Victor.
All right. DPP moves to tighten news on hate mongers. Now he says that he retains exclusive mandate to determine prosecution. That is, DPP Nordin Haji had said that his office retains the overall constitutional mandate to exercise state powers to prosecute those hate mongers. Even as we move to the political heated season, you have to be careful because the DPP is behind you. Ex-Mandela driver jailed for life over abduction of Cuban doctors. The story says that the trial court convicted Isaac Robo on 4 of the 5 counts he was charged with. Now, the trial court convicted Robo on 4 of the 5 counts. One of them, they included committing a terrorist act, abduction, aiding and abetting a terrorist, and obtaining registration by false pretense. So this happened in 2019 of 2 Cuban doctors who were abducted. Robo will also serve 25 years in jail for kidnapping and hostage taking of the 2 Cuban doctors. That is what's there. And there's a story here. There's a survey which was done by Ipsos, and guess what are some of the top brands loved by women?
Safaricom, Airtel.
And what?
Safaricom, Airtel. I'm forgetting the third one. There were 3.
Wait, hold. I will tell you. What are they? What's the third one? Third brand. Let me take you to sports very quickly. Pogba's World Cup winners medal among items stolen during burglary. All right. He was away during the incident, and he said that France midfielder Paul Pogba said that his World Cup winners medal was among the items stolen during a burglary at his home last week. Now, Pogba's house was broken into on March 15th while his children were sleeping. During the incident, only the nanny was at home. The wife was away, but the nanny called, and Pogba says that he's happy that his children are okay, but the nanny is still shaken. Okay, Manchester and Liverpool mayors want FA Cup semi-final moved. The reason being, City, they said that City and Liverpool will meet over Easter, but the mayor said that the match would be difficult for the fans to attend as engineering work scheduled for April 16th and 17th means that there will be no direct trains to London from Manchester and Merseyside. So that's how they depend on that. I mean, train. All right. So they're requesting the FA Cup organizers to push it to a later date. And finally, on sports, eyes on the prize, KCB coach Zico says that fatigue to blame for poor show clings on to remote title hopes. That is KCB Zedekiah. Zico Otieno says that there is a very fixed schedule and fixtures that is bringing quite detrimental effect on his vibrant squad, and says that his men, his boys, so quote unquote how they say, are fatigued because of that fixture. Now let me tell you, so what is the third brand that women love the most? You guess it. Aramis.
Yeah.
Safaricom, Equity, Aramis, women's favorite brands.
Aramis was not even on the top.
No. This is according to the survey.
It was not on the top 3 brands. You just feel like you want to bring it up.
It's here. Okay, Jen, here we go. You can read for yourself.
It's true. Let's see. Where does it start?
Here. The top header.
Yes, Safaricom, Equity, and Aramis, women's favorite brands. You remember there was a time on social media when there was a picture that was circulating that they were looking to change the branding of Aramis.
Yes.
And the way it caused an uproar.
Said no.
Like, no, tunataka hiyo picha ya ng'ombe hapo. Do not change
That is what makes the difference.
That is what makes it legitimate. That is what we love to see.
So the survey was actually Safaricom, Airtel, M-Pesa, and Equity Bank topped the list of the most loved brands by women in Kenya. This according to a survey by research from Ipsos and BSD Group in their second run for the top 100 most loved brands by women in Kenya in 2022. Okay.
It's interesting that it found it. It's way there.
It's way there.
It's one of those subtle things, but it shakes the ground.
But I'm told that it has got...
And brings a conversation.
What medicinal value does it have, by the way? I'm told it's mild to the skin. It doesn't react. Like, it's just there.
It's unscented.
Exactly.
It's meant for the cow's teats.
Yes.
But it serves many purposes. Kwanza on the kids. Unawaslaza na mafuta. Wenye wako na any sensitivities, eczema and the likes, unapaka hiyo.
Inafanya ngozi kuwe nyororo. Ai.
But it is intended for milking cows.
All right.
Okay. So from the top 100 brands loved by Kenyan women, let me just quickly take you through why I chose to work with Azimio. This is because PD this morning has just fleshed out this story from page 4 to 7. So an entire 3-page of this woman that we refer to as Iron Lady, Martha wa Kenya. Herself. And it just begins by sort of like taking us through the journey of Martha Karua, who began politics in 1992 as an advocate. Around the same year, she bagged a parliamentary position using the DP party, that is the Democratic Party ticket as at that time. Between 2002 and 2007, she served in the Kibaki regime as a cabinet minister for Constitution and Justice. And we cannot forget in 2005, when she was campaigning for the no campaign. Remember when we had the yes and no, that was the Chungwa and Dizi, and she was campaigning for the no, which ultimately lost to Chungwa as at that time. And after the post-election violence, that was 2007-2008 PEV, she was one of those key instrumental leaders who were involved in those talks that later formed the Grand Coalition government, or as we popularly refer to it, Serikali ya Nusu Mkate. And even as at that time, between 2007 and 2013, still served under the Kibaki regime as the cabinet minister for water. How can we forget in 2013 when she vied for the position of president in this country at a time whereby the two-thirds gender rule was still a mirage, still is, but beat all odds to vie for that particular position, came in at number 6 out of the 8 candidates, garnering 43,000 votes. In 2017, vied for the gubernatorial position in Kirinyaga County, came in second with 120,000 votes against the incumbent governor, that is Anne Waiguru, and she has also said that she's still going to vie for that same position. So clearly, when political pundits and perhaps Kenyans are asking what she brings to the table, just going by what has been cut out this morning, and again, you can clearly notice that since yesterday, she has also been trending on Twitter, still at number 1 and number 2 thereabout, just trying to show you that she clearly brings in a wealth of knowledge, experience, reforms, and what is also being keenly looked at as we talk about politics being the issue of numbers, and particularly those who perhaps would be going in for that running mate position, is what will she bring to the table in that regard, if at all she gets to be chosen as that. And not forgetting that again, also on Tuesday, she was endorsed by the Maendeleo ya Wanawake leadership as one of those leaders who will be looked at as a running mate. And again, going by also those latest reports by InfoTrack, choosing and looking at the number of women who perhaps could be possible running mates, she also featured into that. So this is why we are keenly focusing on Martha Karua, even as she joined Azimio. She was very categorical on Monday when she said that she was looking for forces that are like-minded, obviously selfless and ready to serve Kenya. So she was actually talking about Azimio la Umoja as those forces. So this is one of those, her joining this coalition is one of those areas that, and particularly spaces that we are keenly going to be looking at as Kenyans, even as we try and wait to see how these two different political factions are going to be choosing their running mates and what bases are going to be choosing their running mates at. Anyway, that is where we bring Good Morning Kenya to a close, at least particularly on our first segment that is in the headlines. But we still have a lot in store for you. I mean, it is Thursday. It had been Thursday. I don't even know why I thought Good Morning Kenya was ending, but stay with us. We'll be back with more.
Uweza ni wako Baba. Kwani amekubadilishia uso?
The fact that he owns most shares of the company does not really make him my boss.
Ni kuna Mkenya anakuja baadaye.
Na mara ya mwisho mliongea nini? Nitanunua. Kwani unajali juu ya pesa? Dakika 5 Sawa.
Yani mama Jazz alikuwa pesa bila
Chana huo fala.
Your parents must be so proud of you, especially your mom.
You've heard of her?
Yes.
Sometimes I think whether it's possible that Shannon is still alive somewhere.
What do we do now? We can't go on our honeymoon. How can you be this terrified of your father? Hey!
I miss you so much, Pinky. I miss you, do you know?
Shannon!
Save my baby. Save my baby.
Did you have wine tonight? Aren't you pregnant right now? Isn't it bad to drink if a woman is pregnant? What?
Vita kwetu ni kawaida. Sisi ni wanawake, hatuwezi kuisha malumbano.
Badi. Asere nirudi nyumbani. Mimi sitaki kuchanganywa akili.
Nikigundua kwamba unanichezea, unanidanganya na kwamba kazi yako kubwa ni kujikalia tu hapo, utashangaa feri safari.
Mtu ataanzaje tu kunifuatafuata mimi mume wake?
Exactly 8 a.m. Karibu tena sana to Good Morning Kenya. Time for us to get entertained because it is Thursday, so matters entertainment obviously takes center stage, and our focus this morning is career versus calling. Would you leave your profession, your job, or just choose to do it part-time for the sake of your calling? And do you even understand the difference between career and calling? What takes center stage? Which one starts? How do you identify the difference between these two? That is what we want to talk about this morning. And my guest, Dorothy Mutisia, is here. She is a professional accountant. She is in ministry, evangelism, speaks, leadership, all in one. A woman embodied in all this.
Multi-talented. Yes, I
just said a nutshell of who you are, but I want you to tell our viewers who Dorothy is, aside from just ministry.
Yes.
Dorothy ni nani?
All right. Very good morning to our viewers, and praise the Lord. Dorothy is a minister of the gospel and a servant of God, a mentor, a leader, a mother, and professionally, Dorothy is an accountant, a plant operator, a chaplain, and among other many practices that I have been doing as a nationalist, because I love this country. So I'm humbled this morning to have this platform. Yes.
Today I really want us to focus on that career versus calling, because ni one of those things that we really don't understand, particularly kwanza as young people.
Yeah.
And for you, you decided, I'm called to ministry, not just music.
Yes.
All that you've described, this is what you're called to do.
Yes.
But you went to school to do accounting.
Yes.
But saizi ni part-time. At what point did you decide, by the way, I will sort of leave this job? Not entirely left, but by the way in which you handle it is like you've sort of left.
Yes.
But you're going to focus on what God called you to do.
True. Well, I want to say this. When we are growing up, we have choices of what we desire, like career choice, which my best career choice, I landed to that. That is, I wanted to be a banker and probably work with the central bank. That was my vision when I was young. And I happened to follow my career, and I went to Strathmore University, where I took my certified public accountancy course. And eventually, there was this thing, I want to call it a gift, or that was being nurtured inside me when I was young, but I didn't recognize, I didn't know it. So it came, it continued as I grew, it was louder and louder. It was growing bigger. And it started with singing, and when there are problems, I will sing. When I am down, I will sing. When things are not working, I will sing. When the mathematical solutions are not working, the reconciliation in office, because I've been in practicing accountancy as a chief accountant for over 10 years before I resigned my job for the ministry. So this as a course, actually 13 years I've been an accountant.
Fully practicing.
Fully with Ramco group of companies, submitting everything, reconciliation, return, final, year ends and all that. But eventually there was this call that I have compassion for the social, for the community development, social works. So I involved myself in mission, crusades and such. So I found myself being driven away from the career. So I was like, I want to concentrate. This is something I loved. This is something I want. But I found myself more, I want the art, the compassion for the arting in the community was so loud, and also to inspire somebody, to mentor somebody. Yeah.
So for you, it was more about the love for the community.
The love for the community. I would not want people to suffer. And I found myself, even at some point, I found myself, I want to spend much time, even at the workplace, whoever is suffering, I would create much time with them. Yes, so it became like I'm counseling, I'm teaching, I'm telling this person there is hope, keep on moving. So that became more of my passion than the career. Yes.
And so at what point did you decide that I feel like I'm being drawn to this? I mean, just from your story, even in your workplace, encourage watu, kuambia vitu zitakuwa tu sawa. You are there filing the returns, you're there doing ABCD, accounting, bookkeeping and all that, but it's like your heart is somewhere else. And this was clearly even being shown in your workspace. So at what point did you decide that actually now I will leave this area and I want to fully focus on ministry?
Now it was at this point, I felt now at some point, I don't want to be restricting myself, because I would get even a word, an inspiration word, and even when I go to the service, or because I used to love going to lunch hour services as well, evening services, and I felt this what God was speaking to me in the morning. This is what I have shared with sister so and so, or brother at the workplace, because they are down, they are struggling in this kind. Even it reached a point, even the reconciliation, when they are not working, I can just perceive it from the spirit, and I'm able to even reconcile. And I cannot sleep when my bank reconciliation, creditors reconciliation are not done. So it was working for me all direction. But I felt I need much time to spend with God and to reconcile men with men and men with God. And also that envision, because Dorothy envisions to see people working towards the kingdom of God and also doing what is right. So that is what moved me, and I reached a point of saying, I think this one I can do it part-time. maybe because my employer will not be giving me all this time to go to visit the hospital, to go to visit the weak or the poor. I've been involved in government initiatives. Like I've gone for this, I've sung a Mani Kenya song. So at the level of the county, I've done Jamhuri Day celebration. There are Mani Kenya songs there. I've found myself in prison preaching. I've gone to the Kirigiti girls. I've inspired those girls, and I go there. I'm like, these people need a lot of talk. I've gone another time when we go to the police custody. You hear cases, and I'm like, we need to employ people like me to talk to these people. This policeman has a lot of work to do. So I could intervene. I could talk to that woman. I could talk to that man. So I found it as a routine. And even young children, wherever I go, they embrace what I'm doing. They want to dance with me. All my songs, I find myself dancing with kids. And there came young talents. There was that desire. I want to nurture the young girls, the young boys, and at the tender age of from 5 to youth. Yes.
And we'll come to that in a bit, Dorothy, but which year was this exactly?
2017.
So
right
2017
now we
is
are
when you
talking
began
of 5 years. I'm not in the corporate
So this is when you began ministry, and this is also when you began music.
No.
Music you began which year?
2013.
2013 is when you began
2013
music.
was
and
official.
And this is your first song?
And I launched, yes.
Okay.
The first album I launched at 2015, but I started it gradually 2013. Slowly, then it was complete 2015. You know, you are working, you are there, the VAT has not reconciled, you leave the office like even 6:30. And the same time, after leaving the office, I will go to the studio. Beating the traffic, you are at the studio at around 8 p.m. You get there is a queue. Somebody is not yet through because there was power failure, there was this and this. I would leave the studios even at midnight.
Your heart was in music.
And in the morning, by 5, I'm preparing to go to work. So I was burning. Working in such a timetable.
This is why it became necessary for you to quit. All right, let's come to music now.
Yes.
And this is what, your latest song?
I have my latest song.
Which one is this?
This is Wewe ni Mungu.
It is your latest?
Not really the latest. There is another one called I Can Do All Things, and this is the song of the year.
I want you to talk to us a bit about that, because you have it on the screen.
You have that one.
Yeah.
Wewe ni Mungu song is a song that came in my spirit, that there are times we magnify like the problems. We have seen the pandemic, we have seen chaos in families, we have seen schools being burnt down, and everyone is crying. This is doing this, the other one is doing this. But Wewe ni Mungu was a song that in the midst of all things, we can glorify God, and so that we can plead mercy to come upon this land, or our children, our homes, our country. And that is a song I was like looking back, flashing back how I've grown. The life has not been that smooth. It has been hard. I'm a firstborn in the family of 5, and it has not been easy. I found myself also being a mother of 1 kid, so I've grown. This kid has grown in my hands as a single mother, and I was like, this journey is not that easy. So when I was doing this song, I was seeing a bright life after the midst of the things I've seen, I passed through, and I was telling God, you are truly God. So I purposed to be telling God every time, instead of complaining, I will always praise you. Yes.
Kweli yeye ni Mungu.
Yes.
I mean, 9 years in doing music, because since 2013 when you did
9 years.
Yeah, when you did your first song. How has that journey been like for you, particularly as a female in the music space?
Well, 9 years, you see, I've said I have a kid, which I carried 9 months. Now you're talking 1 or 8 months. So it has not been easy, because 1 or 8 months it is too much, and it is a journey whereby you are not a specialist in it, and it's an adventure all the same, because I didn't know how to yes, I have voice, I know how to do it, but I didn't know what is needed of me and somebody to guide me as well. And at the same time, there is that push. Is it a platform that I need to preach? Is it because most of the songs I would do, they'll come like someone's, but I will put them in lyrics because I loved singing. So it has not been easy. For one, resources is one of the major things. Resources as well are not there to package what you have, and everything is also you have maybe little small income coming in, you have other responsibilities as a firstborn, as a human being in the society, and all that were competing for me to produce these albums that I have worked on. But I have persevered, I can say, up to now. In fact, last 2 weeks I did a lounge actually a celebration at the Nairobi Cinema on the 6th of March, 2 weeks ago, and I was launching this ministry of young talents, and also I was celebrating the 9 years that God has enabled me to get this far.
To be in ministry.
To be in ministry, and my third album.
Okay, so you have 3 albums.
I have 3
now.
Yes.
I mean, you've mentioned quite a number of issues, and all the time, resources never miss. I mean, when you talk to any artist, be it secular or gospel, or just people in the art space, the question of resources never miss. And sometimes I tend to think, is it sometimes poor strategies in marketing? Because it's an issue that cuts across. You have 3 albums to your name 9 years later. What is this issue of resources? Is it marketing? Is it poor strategy? Is it just not knowing how to get your money? What exactly is the problem?
Okay, well, you see, when we invest today, like I have 30,000. This 30,000, I invest in that video, for example.
That's just one video?
That one video. It's even more than that. Actually, we are talking of one single is 50 plus. 50 plus. So if we are talking of that one song, investing in one song is 30, and somebody else 30,000 investing in serious business or another clothing, call it any other maybe hotel food stuff, they will be multiplying in monthly, weekly basis. But this one is a long-term thing. That maybe like very few people know Dorothy Mutisia as a brand now, because now today I'm a brand. How will they know Dorothy? And I will keep on doing album from 1, 2, 3. Maybe they will know Dorothy with the 3rd album or the 4th album. Why? Because there are so many musicians, so many people, and by the time you get to know Dorothy, we have we have invested a lot of money, because when these things come, the songs come, you can't stop them. You have to produce. You have to keep on producing. You have to keep on singing for you to receive more. Yes.
Well, analogy, trying to make us understand between the music business and the other. Because, I mean, you see, when you talk about art and people that are perhaps on the business side, they will tell you that good number of artists have the talent, but they do not understand the business side of music.
All right.
And I think this is why I really wanted us to just talk a bit about that resources bit, and perhaps you've given us your story, but how did you go about it now, trying to source those resources? Because again, when you look at also good number of artists, they will release single after single after single. You can sort of like count the kind of artists who have albums, and it still narrows down to pesa haikukua ama pesa huwa haitoshi.
Na kweli, you grow as you move, because the first album I did 9 songs as an album. Then I was like, oh, these songs, and you don't, when you are, I asked myself.
And you had the money to shoot even videos?
I did 9. An album is cheaper. A single song is very expensive.
All right.
So when I was doing the 9, I asked myself, if I am asked which song I love for the media to maybe promote me to play, because you can't
and
play
help you recover your money.
Yes, but I was like, I love this, I love this, I love this. And all of them, also there are some things I did not maybe look at, because mine was ministration. I want to pass this message. I want to pass this, pray, so that you don't fall into sin. I want to pass peace, peace, peace. That kind of song, nijae roho wa kweli. So at once you package them in one compact. So this was it was good, but also a very poor strategy of marketing. So after that, I started doing one single. I release it. So you see, now I'm growing. So I am like, you don't just do them all at once. But also, there's a time when you grow, you have, maybe your name is known, and also you are doing the business. You can do even weekly. Yes.
So it just depends with the strategy that you employ. And that is also important.
Yes.
Artists need to understand, or ministers, depending on how you want to describe yourself, they need to understand the importance of marketing. It's not just a question of talent. Mi niko na talanta, mi neza andika, but also the business side is important.
Yes.
Let's talk about the song also that's playing. Which one is this?
Yeah, this one is Jina la Yesu. Yes.
Amongst your first songs?
This is among my second album. Yes. So Jina la Yesu is a song that I was exalting the King of Kings. The name of Jesus is a Prince of Peace. Actually, I found myself in peace, being just a peace ambassador in a way, who is not paid by the government, but I envision reconciling men and men, men with God. So when you talk Jina la Yesu, there is the Prince of Peace. And the Prince of Peace, in this case, this is a song that I wanted, I was focusing. When we have every kind of situation, we can run to this name. We can run to this name, which is a strong tower where the righteous run to it and are safe. When we were featuring the previous song, that is Amani Kenya, I can still go back to that. One thing it came like a vision, and this vision was, I was with Kofi Annan. And when I was launching the second album, actually, date 18th of August 2018, that is the day Kofi Annan died. And Amani Kenya was born in 2017. And I was like asking myself, because I could love this diplomatic the secretary, the late secretary, and he could say, peace is building. Peace is like education. You see, education is like peace. You owe your neighbor peace. You owe your neighbor that to be a caretaker of his welfare and all that. And when I was listening to him, I was like, even when we are negotiating, if there is peace, if we serve the Prince of Peace, if we serve this country with a lot of dignity, and knowing that there are righteous people in this country who can make this city to be exalted, I realized we need the name of Jesus. We need to acknowledge Jesus in what we do. We need to acknowledge the King of Kings, the creator of heaven and earth, because he is all-knowing. He knows what we don't know, and he is our purpose of living today. Yes.
You've just mentioned your song Amani Kenya, how it came about through the vision.
Yes.
Is that what informs your creative process? Is it vision, inspiration, reading the Bible, all this together?
Okay, reading the Bible is key because you need the word. When we sing, we should do the word of God, and all this piece is there. But my songs comes in different avenues. Sometimes they come in visions. I can dream. I can walk around. I can find myself in hardships, and in the midst, I sing a song, and that song heals everything or becomes a solution, then I will know this is something God wants me to go to communicate to people. At times like Amani Kenya, the first time I said I resigned 2017 to the corporate world to do missions and to serve God. And I involved myself in conferences, mission, evangelism work. So I was here, I got an invitation to Dar es Salaam, that is in Tanzania. Then that was the first time I stepped out of this country. Then when I was back, I was given Amani Kenya. And I was like, God, I don't sing. Yes, I'm patriotic, I'm a nationalist, but Amani Kenya and the pulpit, they don't add up. But I didn't know it was a song God wanted me to do. Because even people started knowing me with the Amani Kenya. They started calling me Amani Kenya, but it died maybe in quotes because of the COVID, because I'd even gone up to presidential music vetting. The song was picked, but along that time process, the pandemic, so there was no more maybe public open air public celebration where this Amani Kenya maybe I would have gone to do their life. Yes.
You've just mentioned that you really felt at that moment that Amani Kenya was not sort of adding with the pulpit. We have seen a good number of musicians, but they actually both secular and gospel artists being at the forefront when it comes to campaigns. Yes. It is the political season. Yes. Do you feel like artists play a big role in shaping how the entire scene and space looks like?
Okay, music generally, whether gospel, whether secular, is something that soothes the heart. Comfort is like a therapy, if I may say. And this therapy, when we have it, everyone feels good. Even the kids will dance around. And it is like, even when you are playing football and people are singing for you, it's like cheering you up. So we need the musician. And now let me go to to where I stick to my line. My line is gospel. We are there. We are there to lead also. We are the light, we are the salt of the world. There's nothing bad for me to lead this country before a celebration, to lead a worship. There's nothing bad before the campaign. I lead with a worship because we need God. We need prayer for this country. And I've told you, Proverbs 11:11 says, when the righteous stand, the city will be exalted or will prosper. Meaning, when there are righteous people in this city leading in aspects of what happens economically, social life, this city will prosper. It will be exalted. But when we have wickedness or wicked people shouting, they destroy the city. So we should all know these gospel artists should be there. Like the song I'm talking, the song of the year, is coming. The video is coming very soon. You see those challenges of I said for you don't just doesn't just come. There's a process. There's no money sometimes. So that song should have come like 3 months ago, but still it's in the pipeline. The audio is playing the radio. I call it I can do all these things. I can do all things. And this song specifically, I have been dedicating it to. The other day I was at the Nairobi University chaplaincy in their fellowship, and some of them were doing their final exam. And this song was embracing them because one thing, you say I'll be #1 this year. I'm not the tail. It is a confession song. I am going to do all things through Christ who enables me. Nitaweza. I've been looking down things, the economy crumble, but this time around I'm going to stand and finish the race strong. That is all about that song. So when you look at this song, it is a motivation. When you are fine, when you are a candidate, when you are in a situation where you feel incapacitated, because there are times we are incapacitated in many things, physically challenged, even unable to work, and also economically, you can confess and say, when the word of God tells me, when I'm weak, I'm strong. When I am poor, I am rich. So this song, it will give you the the stamina to move and soldier on, because we are soldiers. And in the midst of the hopeless world, because the world itself is hopeless, there is hopelessness, you can find hope because of the self-motivation or inspiration that you get from the environs. So the environs, it is what you consume more. So if you don't consume the word which is life, you might find yourself draining or dying, withering without knowing. Yes.
Good place to end it. Quite inspirational. It's a hopeless. We are hopeless, but we can find hope.
Hope in the midst of the hopeless world. We can find hope, my sister, through the word, through the spirit, because we can do all things through Christ who enables us. And the power of the Christ is the Holy Ghost. Yes.
Good place to end this conversation. I have been speaking to Dorothy Mutisia, who is mentorship coach, a preacher, gospel minister, does evangelism, all this into one. But this is where we bring this conversation to a close. Plenty more after this break. Stay with us.
Wakenya tupendane. Tuombe kuishi kwa amani kwa kila mmoja. Wakenya tuishi kwa amani. Kenya, oh Kenya, Kenya, amani tupate, tuishi pamoja. Kenya, Kenya, amani tupate, tuishi pamoja.
On My Culture this Friday, get to know more about Shilembe, a ceremony that ropes in bullfighters in honor of a dead hero or warrior in Western Kenya.
Log on to the KBC website at www.kbc.co.ke to get the latest breaking news, entertainment, sports, politics, lifestyle or business trends from Kenya and around the world. Never miss new episodes from your favorite TV shows, reruns and movies. Just stream online or watch live on your YouTube channel at KBC Channel 1 TV shows. For the day's biggest stories, trustworthy news and family entertainment, log on to KBC Channel 1. Watch what you want anytime, anywhere.
Because we are Dynasty!
We accept your challenge, but there's one stipulation. This match is going to be a ladder match. It's the most dangerous, the most deadly style of match in wrestling. I think that it's time that we give Brian Pillman Jr. the chance to shine. I want to give him this opportunity to be in this match.
I'll make the Hart family proud, and I'll make my father proud.
Most of the time you'll hear phrases like, I am depressed, I am stressed. Is it one and the same thing, or what's the difference between depression and stress?
Stress is as a result of ongoing thoughts or emotions that you express differently. By and large, stress is not as intense as depression because stressors are more or less as a result of day-to-day activities. But on the flip side, look at depression. Depression in itself is a mental illness that causes you to have problems in your way of thinking, your way of feeling, and your way of behavior, okay? And it goes ahead to affect your moods, all right? So look at the difference here. It affects your thinking, feelings, and behavior.
Sometimes we need to take risks, son. That new complex could possibly get us out of the hole.
That's it, Leonardo? Oh, Leonardo, I'm sorry for saying this, but I told you specifically to keep your distance because she's still very vulnerable. Alonso, no!
I'm not going to allow you to offend her. Do you hear me?
Alonso, please don't. Let's go. It's not worth it.
Fortunately, Alonso left and he managed to say something that really broke me to pieces.
Why didn't you ever tell me the truth? Why did you let a relationship fall apart just like that?
Lying heart. Fue sembrando el veneno y la ambición.
Why is it that some artists rise to stardom, yet others, they're similarly talented, they're forgotten in their works? Mike Mutenyo is here to answer that question. He's a co-founder and founder of Terrazzo New Media. He's a PR agency, a leading PR agency here in Kenya. And also, he's the CEO of Upeo Talent Agency.
That's right.
Welcome to Good Morning Kenya.
Thank you for having me.
And now let's start with your background in PR.
Yes.
How did you get into the field?
Yeah, so I can reintroduce myself. Yeah, my name is Mike Mutenyo. I'm a brand manager and communication strategist. I'm a co-founder, a company called Terrazzo New Media, which is an entertainment PR company that I co-run with my wife, Agnes Nonsizi. She's also a publicist. And the company began in 2016, so that is when my journey as a publicist began. But before then, I was a musician till 2015, and then I did the transition into the music business. In 2017, that's when now I transitioned also to do talent management under the Upeo Talent Agency. That is where I do manage musicians, both secular, gospel artists. And also, I do a lot of trainings, and I do digital strategy for the Permanent Presidential Music Commission. I've been working with them since 2019, January. And I do assist them release their music projects during national days and all that. So I do a lot in that space. Yeah.
Nice. Now, in 2016, that's when you and your wife, Agnes, started Terrazzo.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the inception of the idea of starting Terrazzo.
Okay.
Did you feel like there's a need for PR in Kenya?
Yes. The need came from a failed music career. As I've told you, I was a musician. I was a gospel artist for 7 years. And I was in a group. So the challenge that we had was when we were releasing music, we didn't know the procedures we need to follow to release songs. Once you've received a song from the studio, the video guy has sent you the final master. What we knew best was uploading the song on YouTube and sharing the links on social media. That's it. That was our definition of releasing music. We were overlooking very basic components of branding, being able to present yourself the way you want to be seen. So before you have that product, how do you need to brand yourself so that you can connect with the target audience that you want to sell yourself to? So starting Terrazzo came from that need, in that when my music career failed, I had to go back to the drawing board and look at what is missing in the music business. As in, why did we have a challenge when we were musicians? And I saw it was a very major component. Apart from funds for you to be able to record, promotion and publicity is very crucial for people to know the product that you have. So that is how the idea came about. And I met Agnes at Ogopa DJs. At that time, she used to work there and used to record there. So that's how we met, and love blossomed from there. So when we came together, we looked at each other's strengths. How she had the background of working with musicians and being able to put together schedules and all that. And my knowledge of being an artist, we put together our skills to start Terrazzo New Media.
Nice. Now you're really good at your job because you're the reason we know Otile Brown.
Otile, yes.
Let's talk about a bit. Let's use him as a case study.
As a case study.
Yeah. Now Otile Brown.
Yeah.
How did you bring him to where he is now?
Where he is. So it was in 2016 December. At that time we were working with a girl group called Banbeka, which had been brought to us by DJ Pinye. So at that time we were doing brand strategy and managing them, and we met Otile in an event in town. At that time he was signed in a label, but he wanted to get out. So the challenge was he needed a team that will assist him transition from that period of being under a label, because he was going to be solo. That was in December 2016. That's when we had a conversation with him and we agreed to work to be his official PR team. So it was very crucial at that time, because you remember he had an issue with his label at that time. They locked his YouTube channels. So he was there without songs, a musician without a song, without a catalog. So we had to do damage control at that time, because there was some narratives which were being put around which were not clearly favoring him. So we had to come up with a way of him being able, number one, being able to open those channels afresh. The YouTube channel that he runs, we're the ones who opened it for him. His social media platforms, we were running them for him for 7 months. And also we assisted him release new projects that were being put on the new channel, which we released 4 songs within that period. And he did a lot of media tours for him to be able to explain his story, to sell himself, and people to know more about him. So I can say that was a very crucial point for him, the transition period, having a very proper team that understands PR, branding, and most of the things that he effects with his brand even up to now. We're proud to say that some of them, the main things we were discussing with him from scratch, which is image. He's an artist who takes his image very seriously. There's no day you'll meet him in flip-flops. An example. He understands his audience is that he can build his brand without kiki, without controversy. He had one, just kidogo. But I can say the fundamentals that we used when we evaluated his brand at that time, and told him, if you concentrate on this is how your brand will work. He's consistently worked with those fundamentals up to now.
It's very interesting when you put it like that. For instance, when I remember Otile Brown coming up, we had different stories about, flip-flops. He was selling flip-flops, not just wearing flip-flops. He had Kenya National Theatre. But then again, there's the other side that I want us to discuss. There's a personal branding. Me as an individual, how do I improve my personal brand online to make sure, employers, when they go, searching for that name, Mike, they find good things about me?
Okay. So I'll relate that with a musician. For example, when we get a new artist who is completely new and they want to do personal branding even before they launch a song, we have pointers that we use to evaluate and advise what they need to do. So the number one thing we do is your stage name. What is your stage name? How did you settle on it? Is it a name that will connect with the audience that you sing for? Is it a name that will be proud of after we've publicized it for 2 years? You will not come back again, you want to change. Changing is fine. People transition, King Kaka was Kaka Sungura, it's fine. But it is usually very crucial at that time before you start the name. Number 2, you must identify your sound, your niche, so that you will be identified with a specific sound. Number 3 is your image, how you dress, how you talk, how you interact with people. That's your personality. What do you want to sell? Lastly, social media. We will do an evaluation of your social media. If you don't know how to align your brand with the social media platforms, we will advise you where you need to concentrate on more. If you sing for younger people, we have platforms that are favorable to search. So, and then we will tell you what to post and what not to post, because it's a global village nowadays, the internet. So if someone wants to find anything about you, they'll go. So all those things, they are very important when you are doing personal branding, you're starting out. It's very crucial. So those are the steps we take people through.
This is very interesting, because I think a lot of people back at home who are watching, they can relate to exactly what you're saying, because earlier on, Doreen Arange, if you missed that interview, by the way, it's on YouTube, she had an interview with an artist, and she was discussing personal branding and branding as an artist, and the way you might be talented.
Yep.
But if you don't have the proper marketing channels, and if you don't know PR, or if you don't commission a PR agency, you're lost.
Yeah, that's true. It's very crucial. I can relate it to, for example, if lights are put out in this room, and you signal, you tell me in darkness, will I know you've told me to remove my glasses? You won't. As in, I want to know you've told me. So music marketing is that, in that artists usually concentrate more in getting funding for an audio, getting funding for a video, and then promotion, marketing of the product, zero budget. A lot has changed since the music industry. Let me just say, in the last 10 years, most of the artists that we know that are big, that were big 10 years ago, most of their projects used to go organically. But we understand why. At that time, social media was not crowded. We didn't have a lot of platforms. We only had Facebook, maybe, that was the major one, and radio. And it was enough for you for people to know that you have a song. But nowadays we have so many platforms. We have so much content. So for you to stand out from the clutter, you must have a strategy. You must have a plan. So in basic terms, I think I've convinced someone why they need PR.
Before we go back to artist branding and artist promotion and artist PR, I want to go back yet again to personal branding. Because I want us to relate it to an individual who's not an artist. Yes, someone, because you are a brand strategist.
Yes.
So someone who is probably in the corporate field, is branding important to them? Is PR important to them as an individual?
Yeah, now it depends with the field in which you are. We have jobs that don't require that. Kama mama mboga pale. Yeah, so it depends with the job that you. But if you are in the corporate world, basic personal branding is key. In that nowadays employers, they go check you out. For example, if Mike is applying for a new job in KBC, they'll need to check you out to know, okay, is this person confrontational and in political matters, religious matters? They'll just want to understand who you are as a person. And the easiest place they can go is social media. Presentation, how you present yourself, it's very important. We are told you are addressed by how you're dressed. Very key. So you need to find a way of dressing that you're comfortable in, that will truly represent who you are. If you want to feel young and hippie and funky, you'll need to know what brings out the best in that.
Well, there's the other side in terms of dressing and image. One would say you show not really what's inside you, but what you want them to see. So how comfortable can you be, really?
Comfortable, we mean, but after you've determined exactly what you want to portray, you should not force yourself on something that clearly we can see you're not comfortable in. Because you will not be able to keep up with that for 2 years consistently, because branding is all about consistently selling a specific thing, consistently portraying a specific thing so that we can identify you with it. Yeah. So
and now, before we continue with branding, you are also the CEO of a talent agency.
Yes, that's right.
The inception of the talent agency is also because you are an artist yourself, and you feel like artists need that representation.
Yes.
Let's talk about the need for artists to be represented by an agency.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Upeo Talent Agency, it began in 2017, and our first client was Guardian Angel, the gospel artist. We worked with him for 3 years, 2017 up to 2.5 up to June 2019.
Okay, let's distinguish between the two first of all. There's the PR and branding.
PR and management.
Terrazzo.
Yes.
There's Upeo.
Yes.
Talent management.
Yes.
Let's talk about the two,
difference.
And let's differentiate between the two first of all.
Yes. Now, the PR, from the entertainment point of view, is activities that are done towards publicizing your brand and portraying it in a proper way, the intended way. Because when we say proper, to some people your branding might be improper, but it's the intended way. So PR in that sense, it's that. So what we do under Terrazzo is we organize music releases for artists, whereby we have networks in the media whereby we can release music to all stations, TV, radio. We can organize a media tour for you, for you to be able to go for interviews and sell yourself. And then also we advise on, in case there's a scandal, you need how to respond, how to handle it online. That falls under PR.
The Notile must have kept you very busy,
Yeah, at that time, yes, very. So from the entertainment, PR, that's what it is. Management, it's having a team or a person to be in charge of your music career, in the sense of you sell to them your vision so that they can understand your vision and be in it just the way you see it. And then they assist you to put together a business structure around what you do, so that your day-to-day activities towards building a career is smooth, professional, and effective, so that you achieve your goals. So those two things are two different things. So that sometimes we get clients, I want management. Yes, they need PR. Or they need PR, they think they need management. They're two different things. So for a management company, they hire a PR team when there's a need.
But you own both, so?
Yes.
So for you.
Yes. So it came as a need because most of our first clients under the talent management company, they came to us as a PR client. And then over time, we saw that we have good chemistry, working chemistry, and we were their fans, and they didn't have a team. So that was the need of why we set up the company. So under that, I do manage several talents. We have musicians. We have
such as Manolo,
the gospel artist. We have actresses. One of them is Celestine Gashuhi, known as Selena. She's one of our clients who we manage as an actress. And then we have event moderators, hosts. Nonsizi falls under that. She's also our talent under Upeo Talent Agency. And then media personalities.
Let's talk a bit about that, the working relationship.
Yes.
Have you ever, because, we know Nonsizi.
Yeah.
She's also a co-founder at Terrazzo. You met in the business.
Yes.
So have you guys ever been at mekukosana mahali?
Kikazi ama kinyumbani? Kikazi, not really.
Has she ever had an idea, like for instance, she was like, Otile needs to handle this scandal like this, then you're like,
Now, for that, from the onset when the company began, everyone has a role in that company. So for her, she's the publicist. That's why she's the face. I don't appear mostly on that company, so she's the face of the company. For me, I do the operations side. So when it comes to publicity, ideas, promotion, it's her. We come up together, but she implements. When it comes to the operational bit of the company, it's me. So we have a very clear line. It's something we learned as a couple. You have to find a balance in if you don't have those structures, very clearly marked lines, it will be hard working together.
It will be difficult working together. Now let's talk about the new artists. Where do we start? Let's say, for instance, I don't really have the money to commission a talent agency or PR and branding.
Yeah.
Where do I start, personally?
All right. So the reality is the entertainment business in Kenya is still fairly new. Fairly new, not that it started recently. Fairly new in terms of structures. We are not at a place whereby even we are classified in, when GDP is being read, we rarely factor in there. And yet we have people in there, like me, who are living there in that industry. But it's just a drop in the ocean when figures are being mapped of what gives the government taxes or revenue. So the reason for that, it's the professionalizing of that sector. It's still growing. What that means is that professionals in that field, there are not that many as it should be. So the reality is, not every musician will have a manager. Not every musician will have a full-time publicist. So as a musician, if you are a new musician and you don't have a team, you need to find a way of being able to survive in that, let me call it confusion. Yes. The main thing is being a person who researches a lot, so that you understand things, understand where the game is right now in 2022. What are some of the ways you can promote yourself without paying someone for free? How can you effectively use your social media platforms to sell yourself? How can you tap into your network and push yourself? All those things I'm explaining, they don't need this. They need this and researching. So it's a thing I can explain. I would like to tell a new musician out there, in that you need to educate yourself to know how do people promote themselves. If I have this small budget, where can I put it and get effective results, other than paying a publicist, and yet you don't have even a professional photo that we can send to the media. So if you bring us that money, we'll tell you, go do a photo shoot first with that money before you pay us, because we will not achieve the goals. So it's knowing the basics that you need even before bringing on board a manager, before bringing on board a PR person. And all that information is available online nowadays. YouTube, you can always Google marketing strategies for a new musician. You'll find that. How to network as a musician. All that information is available on the internet.
Now, knowing all that you know, as we wind up, you said you used to be an artist.
Yes, I was.
Would you ever go back, knowing what you know now? Because if it's about pushing yourself effectively, I think you can achieve that.
I can. Now, with the knowledge, I will go, because my journey will be easier. But where I am, I will not go back, because a lot has happened in the last, let me just say, 6 years in my personal life, in that doing music in its own way as a creative, you need to be in a certain space, which I no longer I am, in terms of, if right now you're to tell me to write a song, it will take me a week because it's like a muscle exercise. So I've not exercised that in years. So it's a no, in that I can't go back to be a musician. But my desire is to be able to change a person's life by giving them the right knowledge that I have about the music business, what I learned when I was an artist, and also what I've learned in the business the last 6 years. Yes.
Thank you so much for coming through. Before we wind up, where can we find you, aside from Terrazzo New Media?
Okay, I'm available on Facebook as Mike Mutenyo. There's a Facebook page. I'm available on Instagram at Mike Mutenyo, LinkedIn, Mike Mutenyo, across all platforms. And also our companies, you can follow them, Terrazzo New Media, across all platforms, and Upeo Talent Agency, across all platforms.
Thank you so much, namesake.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike.
For coming through to Good Morning Kenya. I hope that was insightful for upcoming and also established artists who needed some information about PR and branding. We'll be back after this.
Mr. Shakes, Rusty G.
6 in the morning, nilikuwa in a deep sleep. Dream ile nice ikafanya ni walad kama Viking, sailing in a deep sea. Lines ilikuwa nazo zina flow, zingine zina double click. Na mikuwa mapishi, nikazipika zikatoka kwangu zikiwa double click. Chorus leo ni gani, pige pause kiasi, nitizame ngani. Lakini kwanza na madavas, inashuka faster kama day ya Mardi Gras. Nini kokora, sio safara, and without fear, minaongeza gear, minaongeza gear.
Bado niko ndani ya game, nikupenda wala sife. Na hata kailipi, yaweza kunihubiri. Bado niko ndani ya game, nikupenda wala sife. Na hata kailipi, yaweza kunihubiri.
Rusty G, Mr. Shake, bado sisi tupo. Game tunafunika, kote tunasikika, kote twakubalika. Hatuifanyii hela, masela wanakubali. Wengi wanakazana, hatuwezi kufanana. Tuifanyi kama kazi, lakini twapata pesa. Wengi tunawatesa, Garissa, Mombasa, mtaani tupo sana. Muulize hata Santana, bado twasababisha. Hata wakibisha naifanya kama hobby. Muulize hata Bobby, yule wa mapesa. Rwanda na Kitala na kubali huu mdundo. Yeah, Mr. Saf kwenye beat.
Bado niko ndani ya game, nikupenda wala sife. Na hata kailipi, yaweza kunihubiri. Bado niko ndani ya game, nikupenda wala sife. Na hata kailipi, yaweza kunihubiri.
Ndoto, since hizo days abafo nikiwa mtoto. Kini sasa grown, gurudumu la maisha bado naisukuma. Singeweza penya bila heshima, shukran za dhati. Mie niko kati ya wale wasee wanapenda praises. Tuna rise our own faces, tukienda places. Mkidrive bands, zipro drive horses. Jana tu blaze, na tufanya bosses. Tuna shine hata bila bosses. Wisdom inatupa freedom, kwa hivyo hatunanga nyingi cases.
Bado niko ndani ya game, nikupenda wala sife. Na hata kailipi, yaweza kunihubiri. Bado niko ndani ya game, nikupenda wala sife. Na hata kailipi, yaweza kunihubiri. Niko ndani ya game, niko ndani ya game. Niko ndani ya game.
Are you an aspiring candidate in the upcoming general elections? Do you want your agenda and manifesto to reach your voters effectively? At KBC, we have the most comprehensive and credible online platform that has profiles of all prospective candidates. Log on to www.kbc.co.ke/2022 aspirants and let Kenyans know more about you, your past achievements, your manifesto, and your development agenda once you get elected to office. What's more, the website is easy to navigate. We will create your profile, post pictures and short videos with your campaign messages at affordable hosting fees. Log on to www.kbc.co.ke/2022 aspirants today and establish your brand authority as we lead towards the forthcoming general elections.
Vita kwetu ni kawaida. Sisi ni wanawake, hatuwezi kuisha malumbano.
Badi, asere ndio nyumbani. Msitaki kuchanganywa akili.
Nikigundua kwamba unanichezea, unanidanganya, na kwamba kazi yako kubwa ni kujikalia tu hapo, utashangaa feri safari.
Mtu ataanzaje tu unifuatafuata hapa? Mimi mume wake? Mimi mume wake?
sometimes I think whether it's possible that Shannon is still alive somewhere.
What do we do now? We can't go on our honeymoon. How can you be this terrified of your father? Hey!
I miss you so much, Pinky. I miss you, do you know?
Shannon!
Save my baby. Save my baby.
Did you have wine tonight? Aren't you pregnant right now? Isn't it bad to drink if a woman is pregnant?
What?
Mundos divididos por una sombra de traición.
Sometimes we need to take risks, son. That new complex could possibly get us out of the hole.
That's it, Leonardo? Oh, Leonardo, I'm sorry for saying this, but I told you specifically to keep your distance because she's still very vulnerable. Alonso, no!
I'm not going to allow you to offend her. Do you hear me?
Alonso, please don't. Let's go. It's not worth it.
Fortunately, Alonso left and he managed to say something that really broke me to pieces.
Why didn't you ever tell me the truth? Why did you let a relationship fall apart just like that?
Lying heart fue sembrando el veneno y la ambición.
Kama mapenzi safari kwako nishafika. Baby love, let me talk about you. True love, ninavyokupenda. Kwenye bongi zangu nikikuona moyo wangu unatulia. Baby love, let me talk about you. True love, ninavyokupenda. Kwenye bongi zangu nikikuona moyo wangu unatulia. Oh baby, oh baby, you are my number one, you want me, baby. Nakupenda. You are my number one, oh baby. When no one mwenye, you are my number one. Penda tena sina mwingine. You are my number one. Penzi la kutamtam kama chokoleti, nimekwama chuma magneti. Yurubaini kwako sijiwezi tu. Sijui nikuite mama sita au sinyorita manaweza. Kama mapenzi safari kwako nishafika. Baby love, let me talk about you. True love, ninavyokupenda. Kwenye bongi zangu nikikuona moyo wangu unatulia. Baby love, let me talk about you. True love, ninavyokupenda. Kwenye bongi zangu nikikuona moyo wangu unatulia. Oh baby, oh baby, you are my number one, no one maybe. Nakupenda. You are my number one, oh baby. When no one mwenye, you are my number one. Penda tena sina mwingine. You are my number one.
And from that musical break, we now want to have the conversation surrounding that music that you're just watching there on your screen. Time for us to embark on our third conversation, by the way, on our third and last conversation. This Thursday morning, I'm joined in by great, amazing artists. To my extreme, right, this is right, extreme right, that is Slim Boy. who is an artist, and right next to him is Rusty G. Slim Boy, tuanze na wewe, because the song which was playing ni wimbo yako, your latest song, My Number One, sindio?
Yeah.
Tell us something more about that one.
Okay, the music explains more about the lady I loved. So it was like a dedication to that lady. That's why I came up with the song, like My Number One.
Who lady ni mgani? Which lady is this that you're dedicating this song to?
Okay. Naweza sema, lakini pia nitasemaje, ni ile hali ya yani ile ya kutokea mambo, yani kuna yale mambo ya kuangalia hata kama sio kwangu, lakini pia siwezi kosa kusema ni mtu binafsi ambaye nilikuwa nampenda, ndio ikanibidi nikaimba hivyo. Lakini inazungumzia mtu ambaye nilimpenda, and kwa sana nikawa naona nifanye niandike muziki kumhusu.
Okay. Yeah. Rusty, muziki ulianza 2008. Yani you can say wewe ni veteran.
Yeah, man.
Umekaa kwa hii game for a good while.
Na hii game tumeipiga sana. Nikitokea pale Viga County, 038, Luanda representing. So muziki tumeanza huko kitambo kiasi. Wakati hata internet haiko inafanya.
YouTube could not favor your craft.
YouTube ilikuwa na Clemo peke yake.
Hiyo ingine ilikuwa the way Mike was saying, organic.
Yeah,
kama hakuna muziki, kama haina content, shauri yako.
Yes, na unajua pia imesaidia sana because I think watu wenye tulianza hiyo time wasengi sana wanaangalianga content because unajua it's only content yenye itakuweka tofauti.
So 2008 up until now, I mean that is over 10 years.
That's almost like 12 years, kama siko wrong.
Imekuwa vipi?
Imekuwa fresh, challenges hapa na pale, changamoto zikosi, but unajua ile kitu ya maana ni goal yako ni gani. So your goal, I think the final product ndio siri what natangalia sana. Challenges ni vitu zinapita, zinakufanya unakomaa pia kama msanii.
Slimbana, na ukiagree Rusty akisema that goal is important kwa hii craft tukiwa kwa muziki. Do you agree with him? Muziki ulianza when na imekuwa vipi for you?
Okay, muziki wangu nimeanzia maskani, ndo kama Sirare ya Boda, Kenya, Tanzania.
Migori.
Migori ni county, lakini pia tukisonga kidogo tunafika Sirare, ndo Boda. Mimi naamini kwamba muziki kama muziki ni ile hali ya wewe kujikubali kwamba unataka nini. Kwa sababu usiamini kwamba ukifanya muziki, unafanya muziki ukiweka ile mind ya nataka kuwa celeb kesho. No. Mimi kulingana na mimi ninavyoelewa muziki, au kama vile nimeuelewa, naweza sema kwamba muziki nimeuelewa kwa ile njia ya fanya kama talanta, ifanye kama biashara ikifikia muda wake.
Muziki ni biashara. Unasema ifanye kama talanta, ifanye kama biashara ikifikia muda wake.
Lakini pia usikuwe na ule muda, usikuwe na ile haraka kusema kwamba mimi nataka niimbe leo na nikuwe star kesho. Imba, fanya juhudi. Yani kazana kabisa katika muziki wako. Alafu mwisho wa siku unachokifanya kitakupa matunda yake baadaye. Kumaanisha kile kitu ambacho unakifanya kwa bidii kinaleta mambo yake fresh baadaye.
Rusty, 12 years in the game. Na ndio one of the things that a good number of artists misses. What Slim Boy anasema ati wewe kwanza anza na talanta, biashara baadaye. Unajua anasema kwa wasanii wengi they really understand the talent bit of it, and I had this conversation with our previous artists, but the business side is what makes them not to make money. Because muziki ni biashara.
Muziki ni biashara, especially ukiangalia saizi audio na videos, ile pesa yenye tunaacha studio. So once unaingia kwa muziki from where I sit, utaweza kosa kusucceed because ya vitu mbili. Kuto understand when you are supposed to be paid na wakati unafaa kufanya show ya bure. Unajua automatically utaanza.
But doesn't that depend? Unajua kuna kiwango fulani unafika show ya bure kidogo.
Ndio nakwambia wakati unaanza sana yako lazima utofautishe ni wakati gani bado unahitaji mtu kukusupport ufike penye unataka, na wakati unapaswa uitishe pesa. Unajua before you build your brand, mtu analipia ile kitu inaweza kumpatia pesa. But msanii ambaye hawezi kupull crowd, utagree na mimi bado nahitaji exposure. So watu wengi watakupatia platform, but unaweza kwa platform mpaka siku ya mwisho kari yako ishe baraka unapewa platform. So lazima ujue kwamba nimefika mahali penye sasa nafaa kulipwa. So hiyo ndio kitu I think inachanganya wasanii wengi, because msanii anaweza patwa stage kubwa ikue ana perform bure but itamsaidia kuleta biashara baadaye, because mtu akisikia maybe ulikuwa na kwa Safaricom live na umeenda kumuitisha show na huyu jamaa anajua Kenya anafanya, but at the same time unaweza kuele Safaricom live kama wewe tayari uko na jina na ukatoka bure pale, inamaanisha biashara na kujenga brand yako ni vitu mbili tofauti. Yeah.
So then how do you know when it's time? Because unaona vile unasema the question of exposure, and then unapata pia good number of us young people, we don't want that. Mimi juna feel najua na niko na talent na mimi naweza andika muziki ama mimi naweza act ama mimi naweza, why would you want to give me exposure for the long haul? So again, unafaujaje that at this point all I need is exposure. Up until this point manza nilipeni for my craft.
That's one unahitaji team, alafu unajua pia numbers zako, alafu kienda show. Mimi waambia msanii, unaona kama saa hizi sisi kama big account tunajaribu sana kuelimisha wasanii kutoka huko chini, because unajua msanii kama hutamuelimisha kutoka huko chini ajue ni wakati gani anafaa kupata do na hata pata do, hapo ndo nini nakuja. County government tunaziomba sana ziwe zinaweza kuexpose msanii mapema, so that msanii akikuja Nairobi asitumike sana akifikiria anasaidika kumbe anatumika, una understand? So the only way ya kujua kwamba uko ripe for you to be paid ni numbers zako, first of all. Influence, we don't need to influence the entire country. Hata unaweza kuwa influence to your own constituency, because watu wa constituency wanafika more than 50,000. Hawa watu wakiwa mafans wako wote, unajua unaweza lipwa na hiyo show tu peke yake. But now the aspect ni wewe unataka maybe umejulikana na ngoma fulani but ijaenda viral. So you see hata ukienda Mombasa kusema unataka show, ule msana kwa kujui. So working on your brand hapa social media nini inasaidia pia ku bring ile perception kwamba msana ameshakuwa mkubwa, una understand? Okay, kuna kufake na kuna real. Unajua kama uko na 10k followers YouTube ama 10k followers on your social media, ukiweka show uweze kosa 300, but kama uko na 10k followers kwa social media but ukiita show unapata 50, then kuna msana enjoy mwingine hapa, una understand? Kumaanisha ni hype.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well said. Slim Boy, social media may play which role ku at least grow your brand kama msanii?
Okay, kitu naweza nikasema kufikia sasa hivi kuhusu social media haijaenda sana. Ndio kitu naweza nikasema, kwa sababu wakati mwingine wewe ndio mwenyewe utafanya social media ikutambue. Kwa sababu gani? Leo hii nimepost picha, tuseme Facebook. Nikuja kupost Facebook tena after 3 months. Umeona? Inakuwa like social media haikutambui sana.
Okay.
Hapa inamaanishaje? Wakati hii social media kitu nimekuja kukundua like ukiposti kitu hata YouTube, ukipost leo ngoma alafu kae 1 year ndo kuje kupost tena, utabaki tu hapo and hata mtu anaweza scroll tu anakutafuta, it will take time kukupata. But umekuwa ukiweka kazi zako YouTube and unaendelea tu kupost, kuna ile hali inakuja kwamba at least hata mtu akisearch tu inaleta jina kwa sababu umezoeleka kwenye mtandao. Kwa inafuatana vile mwenyewe msanii kama msanii unafanyaje, unajibuild wewe mwenyewe ndo upate support ya social media kukupushed. Yeah.
So consistency ni important.
Yeah, consistency ni important.
Alright, Rusty aliongelea kuhusu a team, that is one of those things that at least inaweza kuhelp kama inaweza help brand yako kama msanii na pia expose kwa the business side, because when tunasema muziki sio talent tu. Muziki ni biashara. You have to reap from that gift that God has placed in the inside of you, sindio?
Yeah.
So for you, when you began music, having a team, maybe a manager, someone that manages even your socials, are these things that would you consider, ama they just came with time?
Okay, what I can say, kukuwa na manager, manager atakuja wakati ameona what you are doing.
So ukianza unaanza tu ukiwa peke yako?
Yeah, ukianza muziki, kwa sababu these other people never knew that you have that talent. Wewe mwenyewe ndio una-expose. Umeona? After uki-expose your talent, unakuja kupata umewaka on your talent, so kuna wale watu watakuja kwa kuna msanii fulani niliona anafanya vizuri. That's the management now. So unapata mtu anaamua kutake hiyo talanta yako, anaamua kukufanyia au kukuexpose kwa watu wengine au sehemu zingine, kukujulisha kwa watu wengine wakujue, kwa sababu akona ile sasa mind ya mseni kimpeleka hivi na hivi kuna venye ita benefit na yeye, umeelewa? So management itakuja wakati wewe mwenyewe umefanyaje, wakati wewe mwenyewe umejibrand. Yani wakiona seriousness yako unapata those people wanakuja like I saw your work, yeah, your work is good and can we do this and this, inaeleweka. But as well ndio uanze, you should need to start yourself because wewe mwenyewe ndio unajua una nini. Wewe ndio mimi najua nina talanta ya muziki and ndio ni wale watu wengine wajue. Na usifanye ukitaka kujua I want to do this nipate manager. No, una work like you have nobody to kukusaidia financially na vitu vingine. So ukifanya hivyo ndo management naingilia, unapata mtu anasema your work was good, then I need to support you this and this, kwa sababu ameona kuna uwezekano wa wewe kufanya hivi na hivi na hivi ndipo akafaidika na ukafaidika kwa njia nyingine. Yeah,
so at this point do you have a manager?
Right now sina manager.
But you're still working at it alone?
I'm still working at it. Yeah.
How many years in the music space?
It's 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
Unafaa upate manager sasa.
Yeah,
anafaa
team.
Yeah.
Because I think this is one of those things that really good number of artists misses. Mtu anakuambia nimekuwa kwa industry for 10 years and you really cannot even recognize them.
Yeah, you see, the problem ni unajua team kuna mahali itakufikisha penye ungefika peke yako. Because at the end of the day, kama wewe ni msanii unajua unafaa kuwa na time ya kuingia studio kurecord, but kunafaa kuwa na wase wanaongea story yako hata kama hauko. Then you see social media, but hapa ni mahali pia vinaweza ongea na wasanii maybe countrywide. Sasa umeona kuna wasanii wengi sana ambao I think pia watu huchukua advantage. Kuna cartels pia kwa muziki pia. So unapata maybe kama msanii kama Rusty G unafungua YouTube channel. Then those guys wanasema nakwambia amefungua YouTube channel, but at the end of the day it's not you ambao kuna passwords. So hii ni kitu nyanya sana unafangalia. Hata kama unapata management, hold kwa vile vitu key, kama ni Instagram, kama ni YouTube, kwa na zile handles wewe mwenyewe ndio unazo control, because mkiachana na hii management inaweza mweka kuzimia data kabisa. Inatoka na hiyo YouTube channel yako. Umeona wasanii wengi hata wakubwa walifanya hiyo mistake. Yeah. So these guys are losing their YouTube channels. So ni vizuri kama msanii uko na knowledge, you understand. That's why na hata wakati tunafanya hizo workshops kule kwa county ya Vihiga kule, tunajaribu kuongea na wasanii, msanii kwamba unaweza ukawa ni msanii mnoma, but kama kuna vitu basic usipozijua, then it affect craft yako, because mtu atakuja kuambia na kumanage, then ana take all of your passwords. Mkidisagree, because binadamu lazima wakosane.
Yeah.
Mkikosana na ushampatia kila kitu, unajua inamaanisha unaanza upya. Na hapo ndo tunaangalia sana in terms of business, and then wasanii wako na passion pia. Passion unajua ndo itafanya ule mtu mwenye hata kuanza kukusupport. Because unaweza pata kila time, hata kama unaangalia maybe YouTube, kuna certain video na pop kila saa, huyu jamaa ametoa kitu, unashangaa huyu anakuanga nani, then unapata fan pale.
Alright, well said. Passion I think is one of those very important things, as well as consistency. Umeongelea kuhusu workshop, and I want us to stay there a bit, because when we keep having this convos, particularly about artists, one thing that never misses, and if you really watch the first conversation with our first artist, anakuambia nimekuwa hapa for 12 years, but resources even after 12 years bado ni issue. Resources, finances and all that. So in your workshop, and even as you go about these talents, because you're doing it next week in Vihiga County, isn't it when you unafundishanga how wasanii, ama how do you go about it?
Yeah, you see, first of all, you see like county government inakamna kama size sisi tuko lucky kama Vihiga County, because most county governments are support wasanii, but sisi tuko advantage through the Department of Youth ambayo inahediwa na Madam
Otitchilo is really stepping in.
Yeah, Otitchilo the governor anatusaidia sana. Alafu kuna jamaa anajiita Philip Gavuna. Alafu na entire team. Unajua committee ndo ina run event. So what we normally do, first of all, mna identify talents. Unajua ku identify talent in the process. It's not just a one day thing. So first of all, mnaanza na auditions. Wala watu ambao wako capable. After mshapata, kama venye tutapata wasanii ambao tutawapata kwa auditions zetu, then tutawafanyia workshop for 4 days before waende to the main gala ambao tutakuwa tunaifanya later. So kenye tuna focus nao kubwa sana ni workshop. Unaanza kuelimisha msanii ili akifika huko mbele asiregret, asilose ile kitu tulikuwa tunamwambia before. So kama ni mambo na management ya nini hizi social media, tunaanza kuambia mapema. Then msanii anafaa kujua unaweza ukaanza kushinda kwa competition, but you're a good artist. So haimaanishi kama hutaweza kumanage kupata kitu kwa ile extravaganza yetu tunafanya, ama ile talent search umelose, because tunakam na full package. First of all, tunakuja na kuelimisha wasanii, tutahakikisha kwamba tumeenda kila kijiji, because we have 5 sub counties in Vihiga County. Tuko na Muhaya, tuko na Vihiga, Sabatia, Hamisi, then tuko na Luanda. Hizi sub counties zote tunaenda kwa kijiji, because tumeanza hii talent search kwa mashinani kabisa. Kumaanisha workshop kama unafanya mtu mwenye bado hajui chochote kwa muziki, so unaanzia kwa basics, so that by the time anafika mahali anataka kuanza kujimanage ama kuanza kupata do, anajua niliambiwa nikifanya hivi na hivi sitaweza kufaulu nisipokuwa na patience, because unaweza kuwa msanii mnoma but hujatoka. So imanishi ule mtu mwenye hajatoka na ni msanii mnoma hata faulu. Patience pays. Umeangalia wasanii kama mtu kama Calligraph. Calligraph ametake so long kwa penye yako saizi. Inamaanisha kama ange give up mapema. Tuna encourage kwamba hata kama hujatoka leo, kesho wenda ndo siku yako. Uta give up leo na maybe. Yeah, na mimi na appreciate sana the county government ya Vihiga, because unajua kupata msanii kule mashinani. Unajua sana wengi wanaamini ukiwa Nairobi ndio utafaulu.
Exactly.
But we see now, sisi tunajaribu kuwa hiyo narrative kwamba umetoka mashinani and you have the good structure. So the county government ni kama inact kama bridge. Because ikisha expose hawa wasanii, because kama watu kama nyinyi KBC, tuwa invite Vihiga County wakati tunafanya wa event. You see, mnaweza ku identify talent na msanii anaweza kuja kaka kwa show kama hii, because tumewaita nyinyi kama maybe partners wetu. Then mkikuja pale mnaona msanii anaimba vizuri na hajashinda. But you see, atapata contact yako ama atapata contact ya mtu mwingine wa KBC ama another radio station. So inamaanisha yeye tutambuild kumuonyesha kwamba si lazima utumie njia ndio ufike. People can come on board kulingana na kujituma venye unajituma, because msanii kama hata kama ni mnoma na umekaa kwa nyumba hakuna mtu atajua, lakini msanii ametoka hapa ameenda maybe pale Uhuru Park kuimbia tu watu bure, huyu jamani mnoma. So you see unaweza chukua contact yako kumsaidia. So workshop inakuja ina maana that msanii asikue anaangalia kwamba lazima nipate mtu wa kunisaidia. Anaweza enda akafika mahali like sisi tunapeana platform for exposure. So county government ishakupatia platform. Mtu mwenye atakuja pale maybe ni mtu wa Coca-Cola, anaweza kukutumia kurana an advert ili upate do.
So that's where the place of exposure also comes in. Let me come to you, Slim Boy. Rustic unapata amesema that they're trying to kill your narrative ya muziki you can only become a big artist. Ama muziki, if you're an artist, ukiwa Nairobi ndio muziki yako tunaweza ijua. Wewe ulianzia Migori, ukakuja Nairobi. Is it that it was difficult to do music in Migori, Sirare, na ukakuja Nairobi, ama what was it?
Okay, kutoka nyumbani kuja hapa ni ile hali ya kutafuta. Kawaida tumezaliwa nyumbani maskani. So katika ile ya kuzaliwa pale utajua ukiwa hapo nyumbani. Kawaida ni kama ndo haujatoka sehemu nyingine uende, utoke nje. So mimi nikijua pale ndo najua kuimba au na talanta ya kuimba. Nilijaribu, lakini si kutoka pale kwa sababu ya muziki ndo nije Nairobi kufanya kwa sababu watu wa Nairobi wanafanya zaidi. Hapana. Mimi naamini kwamba ukiwa popote muziki utafanya, kama ulikuwa unaweza fanya kitu na kufaulu, ile passion ya mtu binafsi. Yani mimi naweza nikaimba na najiamini naweza nikaimba. Sio lazima nikuje Nairobi. Umeona? Lakini pia katika ile hali ya kutafuta tunakutana na watu tofauti tofauti. Na katika ile hali ya kujituma pia unapata kwamba hapa ndo msingi umenipata. So katika kule nilianzia haimaanishi kwamba nilishindwa pale na nikaja kujaribu hapa. Hapana. Ni ile hali ya kutafuta, kwa sababu ukitafuta leo hii utaniona Nairobi kwa sababu ya kazi au vitu vinginevyo. Kesho utaniona Mombasa. Sitakuwa nimeenda Mombasa kwa sababu nasikia Brown Mauzo wa Mombasa anafanya nini? Anafanya vizuri Mombasa. Hapana. Pale nitaenda na nitaendeleza ile hali yangu ya kuimba kwamba ni kwa sababu ni talent na nafaa kuikuza. Mimi mwenyewe kwamba ni jibrand, nafaa nifike sehemu fulani. Nitaendelea kuimba yani hata kama nitakuwa nipo sehemu gani. So kusema kwamba Nairobi ndio kutoka siaminiani na yeye kwa sababu kila mtu ana muda wake. Na huu muda unakuja wakati msanii mwenyewe binafsi amejisukuma zaidi ili kufikia yale malengo na mbali kwa anataka hii. Ndio maana awali nilisema kwamba usifanye kitu kitarajia utasaidiwa. Fanya. Pale ikikufikia. Ikikufikia kwamba kuna mtu ametokea kukusaidia. Alivyosema mwenzangu kwamba unaweza ukaenda Uhuru Park ukaimba hapo. Jamaa atatokea hapa aseme mwanangu una kipaji sana ujue. Kwa katika hivi, nipe namba yako. Kidogo utasikia tu napigiwa simu. Mwanangu nilisikia una kazi nzuri. Alafu kule nilikuona sijui kama nakumbuka. Anakuambia hapana. Nikumbushe. Mimi ni jamaa fulani hivi nilikupa namba yangu sehemu fulani. Sasa hiyo inakusaidia nakuja kushtukia. Kumbe kwenda kwangu kule kulikuwa na faida zake. So kufanya kitu tena for free you can do. unaweza fanya mpaka ufikie ule msingi wa wewe sasa unaona kweli hapa nafanya ilipwe au inakuwa kwaje hapa. Kwa unafanya kama passion, fanya tu kwa sababu ni kitu tu, una akili zako, mtu umepewa akili, una kila kitu, una mikono na miguu, unaweza ruka ukafanya chochote. So ina maana kwamba katika kile unakifanya, fanya kwa moyo wako. Ikifikia ule muda hata Mungu hawezi kusaidia umelala. Eti bwana mimi ngoja mimi leo nitalala. Nilale tu yani Mungu atanisaidia. Wapi? Utashinda hapo. Utashinda hapo sana. Ujitume kwa sana. Baadaye matunda yatatokea. Ndio maana mimi nasemaga kabla nipate management au mtu wa kunisupport katika muziki wangu au kwenye sanaa yangu, mimi nafanya kulingana na uwezo wangu. Kile kipato changu kidogo najiweka nacho kwa sababu hicho ndo kitakufanya ufike sehemu fulani, upatane na watu ambao watakusaidia, lakini usikue na hiyo akili kwamba nitasaidiwa, nataka nifanye hivi. Kuna mtu atatokea sema atatokea wapi?
Now unasema before upate management, I mean 3 years in the industry, pia si muda kidogo vile. Kuna wale watu ambao kwa mfano wanasimama na wewe in terms of kama mentors ama watu wanakuguide much as hauna management, because hawezi pia kufanya tu hii muziki kivyako peke yako.
Unahitaji support ya marafiki. Kuna marafiki kwa sababu leo nikifanya kazi yangu au leo nilikuwa nikuje KBC. Nimeshare kazi yangu, nimeshare poster nini. Kuna wale marafiki, the royal friends wenye nasema, yani nilipost tu hivi, washatoa status yangu, wakaposti kwao. Those are the royal friends wenye unasema, these people wananisaidia kufika sehemu fulani. Umeona? Katika hao watu wanaokusaidia, hiyo sasa you appreciate. Unasema like these are my good people, then I should work with these people until ile siku tutapata the good number yenye tatusupport tufike sehemu fulani. Maana ndo napatanga sometimes tunapata msanii anatoka. Leo nimetoka coming soon leo. Hujaona mtu amepost but you posted it, ukashare but they never reposted it. So nashangaa, I had so many friends wananiambia, bro wewe ni msanii mkali. Wewe unaweza. Umeona? But when it comes to that time, like you should support me, like share this thing, share. Nifike sehemu fulani, unapata those people hawapo. So unaanza kujiuliza, bro, yani mpaka unakuja kusema okay, sisi sema kwamba natafuta namba yako, hapana. Ndo maana okay, I'm sorry to say this, ndo maana hata ukikosana na ex usifute namba yake, just muache angaliange state zako.
Anyway, coming to you Rusty, tukiangalia tu na vile Slim Boy anatuambia kweli support ni muhimu. It doesn't matter where it really comes from, but at the end of the day, support, whether it's from family, friends, or the government is coming on board, it's very important. And for you, you experienced that when the county government was there during your album launch. They even gave you resources. Tuambie kuhusu hii support system, because also again, it's one of those things that a good number of artists they lack.
Unajua, first of all, ukitaka kupata assistance, usiweke pesa mbele. Hiyo ni kitu number 1. As far as tunaifanyia
weka passion mbele.
Weka passion mbele, because I remember wakati nilikuwa naenda ku approach the office of youth department kwa Vihiga County. Nilikuwa nishamaliza album yangu hapa Nairobi. Nikasema acha niende county because nilikuwa nataka kulaunch, nilikuwa nataka kufanya kitu tofauti. Unajua wasanii wengi wana launching album zao Nairobi. But because mimi najua kuna wasanii wengi wana look up to mimi kule kijijini, kule kwa county, nilitaka wafeel kwamba okay, wanani on. Understand? Na it's the same concept hata tunafanya hii story ya talent search kule Vihiga County. Nataka msanii ajue, unajua umeuliza swali kwamba mbona Nairobi watu wanaonekana wanatoka sana Nairobi. But the truth be told, Nairobi ndo ina run music ya Kenya.
So to some extent tuna agree
ina run because so many media houses ziko hapa. Na for you to be seen to have succeeded, lazima uko kwa hizi media. Unajua usipokuwa KBC hapa, unajua KBC ndo the only TV yenye unaweza watch bila hata nini. Yani hailipishi. So kama hujaonekana hapa, it's available to all. Una understand? So wakati ule county government ilikuja on board, nienda nikawaambia mimi nishafanya hii kazi, already niko na product. So I just need you guys to assist me ifikie watu. Na kitu ya kunishangaza kwamba wakati nilipeleka ile idea kwa county, the first person ambaye alirespond alikuwa governor. Akaniambia, I'm going to support you on this as a person. But you see after yeye kunisupport na resources because kuandaa concert kule mashinani pia ni expensive. Yeah. Unahitaji hizo manini kwanza mahali penye utakaa, hizo tents nini, sound, alafu unajua watu wanaingia bure kumaanisha you are reaping nothing out of it. So yeah, wakati alikuja on board alinisaidia, and then the department itself ya youth walinitumia paka waziri. Alikuja pale and you see from the same concert ndio nilipata hiyo rapo yangu na department ya youth ikakuja kwa karibu. So hata kupanga hivi vitu tunapanga because wanajua my capability and I know how they can go, their passion towards the youth. So unajua inakuwa rahisi. But kama ningeenda pale niseme nimekujia nataka kulaunch album, automatically niko sure singepata hiyo nini because wao wangeona huyu jamaa kwa interest na pesa peke yake. But there is a need kama msanii ukuwe na PR. Ukiwa na PR hata nikikuapproach nataka unisaidie kucheza muziki yangu, kama niko na good PR utanicheza tu sababu una understand huyu jamaa ako na vision. But nikuja kwako nikwambie niko na hii na hii nataka hivi, utaona this guy maybe siwezi kumtrust. So mimi naweza sema kwamba kama msanii ndio uweze kupata support hata hizi corporate. First of all wanaangalia your vision. Yeah. Wanaangalia vision and then the passion you have. Because wakati mimi nilikuwa na invite watu kama Nakada because Nakada were the main sponsors of my event. Wakati nilienda kwa ofisi ya CEO wa Nakada nilimwambia kwamba I come from Luanda by the way, Vihiga County. So nilimwambia Luanda tumekuwa na issue ya somehow mambo na drugs na affect vijana. So nilimwambia ningependa sana tupeleke hii campaign kule nyumbani because as far as inaweza kuwa si kubwa sana but tunataka tuzuie. So
it was a big issue
it was a big issue na ilikuwa inahitaji ku address. So wakati nilimwambia niko na album inajiita Mihadarati. Then the CEO aliniambia on this one we must partner with you. And alinipatia team kutoka Nairobi, team ya kutoka Western region, na mimi na appreciate sana because I think wakati unakuwa na vision unaweza kupata una resources but your vision inaweza kufanya msa kupatia support kulingana na kitu anaona ndani yako.
Yeah, that's well said. Your vision can lead you to your resources. So don't be looking for resources first. Just have a clear vision, a clear guide, a clear mission.
Kabisa.
Okay. Slim Boy, when ukiangalia the question and the issue of media, it's always a big issue and a challenge for most artists. Wanasema mimi nimekuwa kwa muziki maybe for 10 years, could be 3 years like you, 2 years, a year, some even 5 years, but wanakuambia imekuwa very difficult for me kupeleka muziki yangu kwa TV stations. Kwa radio stations. That's why a good number of them pia wana turn to social media. But people have to understand it's not a place for everyone, much as it's a new media and an online media. Has this been an issue for you? Try to get kwa media, could be radio, could be TV, na umekuwa ukideal nayo aje kama msanii?
Kuhusu media, sisi sema sana kuhusu media.
Given that hauna now a management, now you really need one.
Kuhusu media, ninasema kila msanii anasema tu media. Kwa sababu ukiuliza msanii, kwa nini vipi? Mbona inakuwa kwa hivi? Yeye unasikia anasema, bro, kupata hawa sema nzee sio rahisi. Lakini mimi kitu naamini au kwenye kila kitu ambacho nakifanya ni si lazima pesa au nini.
I like the way you keep saying si lazima pesa.
Si lazima pesa. Unajua watu wengi wanafikiria pesa ndio kila kitu. Na hii hali ya kusema pesa ndio kila kitu.
But also wana resources to make videos and audio.
Hatuna resources, it's good, okay. Hatuna resources, it's true. Lakini pia the smallest money you have is what will maintain you.
Okay.
Kwa sababu siwezi taka sahi nitoe video ya Otile Brown kuja kusema mimi no, what you have is what you should work with. Umeona? Mimi sahi nitafanya kitu ninaweza kufanya. Kwa sababu sitahitaji kwenda niuze plot ushago. Niende nifanye muziki kwa sababu nataka kuwa Otile.
Uende wakuchangishie huko Serari ukujua.
Siwezi sema kwamba leo nataka nichangishiwe pesa nifanyie muziki. I don't think that one is okay to me myself. Sijui wengine, lakini mimi siamini kwamba hivyo ndo vizuri. Kwa sababu ukiamua kufanya kitu na Mungu amekupatia the way that you can do that thing. Umeona? Jaribu jaribu kufanya vile unaweza. Na nikisema sio lazima pesa, ni kumaanisha leo hii nimeenda studio au sio kama studio. Nimeenda nilikuwa natembea tu studio ile kama ile kipindi cha kwanza mimi nilikuwa naweza angalia hata jina limeandikwa artist mali, sifikiri ni artist wa kuchora, sifikiri chochote, mimi najua hapa artist yupo. Kwa hiyo unafuata mimi njia nasema kwamba artist nafanya nini art. Sasa katika ile ya kufuatilia masuala kama hayo, unaweza fika sehemu ukajikuta umeingia kwenye studio, unapata watu wanarekodi, umeona? Katika ile hali ya kunini kuhype, unajipata umepiga kitu kimistari hivyo tu. Unajua wewe mwenyewe unaona watanifikiriaje? Lakini pia unasema tu ngoja nipige kwa sababu sijamkosea mtu, situpo hapa tunapiga hype wote. Kwa katika ile hali unaweza pata producer umerekodi kazi yako hata siku moja? Hapana. Nimesikia unaweza fanya kitu fulani. Katika hivyo unaweza kuwa ni bahati unapata labda hata Rastaji alikuwa na record studio akasema mwanangu huyu msanii anaweza. Vipi acha nimpe line hapa. Apige mstari hapa kwenye verse moja. Unaona? Umejipata kwa Rastaji ni msanii mkubwa wakati haukutarajia. Unaona? So wewe utashinda hapo umesema nataka nitafute 50,000 nikutane na Kagraph nimpe tu tufanye collab. Utashinda hapo. Umeona?
Utapata Calligraph.
Utampata. So what you do is what makes you. Yaani ndio kitu mimi ndasimamia kwamba what you do hata kulingana na media, the way you communicate with the people, ile njia utatumia kuongea. Huwezi kuja useme mimi ni msanii nimetoa ngoma yangu nataka mnicheze PlayStation.
Tukuone pale kwa gate tunasema.
Umesimama pale kwa gate tunasema mimi kitu nataka nifanyeje? Hii ni ngoma yangu. Iko hapa kwa flash kwanza hadi iko hapa. Nataka mchukue ngoma hata kama ni wewe. Tuambiane tu kuelewa Mungu kwa sababu binadamu sisi ni watu wa kawaida tu. Mtu amekwambia hivyo, utamchukuliaje? So katika ile hali ya mazungumzo yako ndio itakuja ifikie hali ya kusema kwamba media ni ngumu kupata hawa but how do you communicate with these people? The way you communicate with these people is the way. Na pia kazi yako, sisemi nafanya kazi nzuri, hapana. Kazi yenyewe unatoa msaada.
Then kutoka gala I think utaifanya 19 to 21st. So watu wazidi kujiandikisha, wale ambao hawajajiandikisha. Then kitu kingine pia wanifuate pale kwa mitandao. Alafu ni appreciate sana Department of Youth na committee nzima ambayo inapanga event.
Wamekusikia wote. That's a good place to end the conversation. And for me and on behalf of the entire team, we say thank you so much for watching. I'm Doreen Arange Okello. Till next week, have a beautiful Thursday morning.
Keep abreast of the developments live from the National Assembly and the Senate.
Honourable members of Parliament.
The questions.
When is the construction expected to commence?
The motions.
Beg to give notice for the following motion.
The debate.
Will as many as want to say aye?
The statements.
A statement on an issue of general topical concern.
The petitions.
Order number 4, petitions.
Stay tuned to KBC Channel 1 and Radio Taifa for live proceedings from both houses of parliament from Tuesday to Thursday. Live, uncensored, unedited. KBC, your national broadcaster.
FM Kigosin